And welcome to Orangeburg, South Carolina on a chilly day in the Palmetto State as the South Carolina State Bulldogs take on the Bisons of Howard. South Carolina State comes in with a record of 5-3, 3-2 in the MEAC with a slight outside shot to still win the conference. They need some help though and got to win today. The Bisons 1-8, 1-4, having a tough season this year. We'll get into that in just a little bit. 52 degrees and sunny here in Orangeburg, South Carolina. Hello everybody, Tyler Cupp, Demetrius Davis, the coach, here with me in booth, bring you South Carolina State and Howard Bison football on the MEAC Digital Network. And this is a big game here for the South Carolina State Bulldogs here, Coach Davis. They still have an outside chance to win the MEAC conference, but they got to win and get some help.
Yes, well, they have to get in and they have to get some help from Bethune-Cookman, get some help from North Carolina Central and some guys like that, but they still have a chance. So at the end of the day, you get your guys motivated, come out and say, guys, we got a chance to get it done, so let's get it done.
Let's look at some of the top key players. First for Howard, Kyle Anthony, the school's all-time leading receiver. He broke the record last week, 187 catches. He's played in all 42 games and caught a pass in all 42 games.
Well, they said this is the fourth head coach that he's had an opportunity to play with, and he's been the only consistent thing, seems like, going on at Howard University, but I'm excited to see what he does today.
He's got 54 catches this year and 4 touchdowns for the Howard Bisons this year. But, of course, they're having a struggling season at 1-8. Let's look at South Carolina State's key player, and it's big Alex Taylor, the 6'9", 310-pound left tackle, a 3-time MEAC Offensive Lineman of the Week from Moncks Corner.
He actually this week had, got an invitation to go play in the Senior Bowl, so that's a big accolade for South Carolina State University.
So Alex Taylor, the big left tackle, has been so strong in the games we've seen him in, been an outstanding player for the Bulldogs. Again, they're looking to get a big win here over Howard on Senior Day, where they are honoring 23 different seniors. We'll take a break. This is the MEAC Digital Network, South Carolina State and Howard on ESPN3. Back out.
New York Strip, always popular Flo's Filet, and the limited time 14-ounce Delmonico. That's how steak is done. Longhorn Steakhouse. You can't fake steak.
Back to Orangeburg, South Carolina for a MEAC clash as the Bisons of Howard travel to take on the Bulldogs of South Carolina State at Oliver C. Dawson Stadium as we look at our keys to the game coming up for South Carolina State taking on Howard in this big-time clash. The 47th all-time meeting between the two schools. Let's look at the keys to the game for the Howard Bisons, Coach.
Yep, we say they got to feed Kyle Anthony early. We feel like in order to have a chance to win, they got to get him the football, and they also need to be able to get some pressure on Corey Fields at quarterback.
Yeah, get a little pressure on Corey Fields. He's a redshirt freshman, so kind of get him rattled a little bit as he's kind of taking the starter's role here for the Bulldogs, and definitely get Kyle Anthony the ball any way you can. Screen passes, jet sweep, whatever you got to do. He's your game breaker. Let's look at the South Carolina State Bulldogs.
South Carolina State needs to establish the run early. We feel like they should be able to be dominant up front, so if they can establish the run, that'll set up some play-action pass down the field, and they got to give Corey Fields a little time to stand back there and make some throws.
And I feel like if you establish that run, it's going to evolve into giving Corey Fields more time, a lot more time back there in the pocket. So let's see. Howard going to kick off to South Carolina State. Howard in the white tops and the black pants, with South Carolina State in the red tops, white pants, and the white helmets. And we are just about ready to go. The Bulldogs come in with a record of 5-3, 3-2 in the MEAC. Howard having a rough season. We'll get into that throughout the broadcast, and we can get into that here as we go along. But they are coaching with their director of football operations at the school as an interim basis. Ron Prince was put on administrative leave back on Wednesday. So they've had a lot of turnover. About 6 or 7 players, according to the athletic department, are in the transfer portal off the team. That includes Kalen Newton, who was lighting it up through the first 4 games of the season, 800 passing yards, about 300 rushing yards. Haven't seen him since week 4, so it's been a struggle for this team. They got a lot of freshmen playing on both sides.
Well, and adversity has struck in Washington, D.C., and they have put some guys in the transfer portal, and there's the guys that are here. We're excited to see what they're going to do and see how they're going to represent Howard University.
Little pooch kick as we get started here in Orangeburg, and we're off. The South Carolina State Bulldogs will have the offense on the field for the first time today. And we will see the Bulldogs led by Corey Fields, the redshirt freshman who has played so well in his limited time at Hollywood, South Carolina. There's the starting lineup. Corey Fields at quarterback, we mentioned. LeBron Morris has evolved into the starter, over 400 yards rushing. And, of course, the big wide receiver, Shaq Davis, Demontrez Burrows. Those are the big guys to watch on the targets. And, of course, the three-time MEAC Offensive Lineman of the Week anchors the offensive line, Alex Taylor. Out of the shotgun is Fields, going to throw it over the middle, and it's incomplete. Pass broken up by Howard, and on the attempted reception was Demontrez Burrows.
Yeah, I guess I want to get Montrez the ball early. Being that it's senior night, he's one of the only senior receivers out there that's on the field now. I know how Coach P like to do it. He wanted to give him the ball kind of early.
Good coverage on the play for Howard. And there's a flag down as they blow the play dead. It was Quante Anderson, a freshman out of Virginia Beach, who was on the coverage. And we've got a penalty on SC State to get things started here.
Got to get the pregame jitters out. You know, a little false start there. Somebody jumped a little early. They're a little over anxious. So get that out of the way now. Now we'll have 2nd down and 15 coming up.
2nd down and 15 for the Bulldogs. First offensive series here in the afternoon for either team, the Bulldogs and the Bisons. Two receivers on either side, now one coming in motion. And Corey Fields is going to throw, rolling to his right, looking, throws, and that is one-handed caught, far side of the field, and going to be drugged down at the 40-yard line inside Howard territory. That is Demontrez Burrows making a big play on Senior Day.
Boy, what a great catch. He went, you could see a great pass there. The guy looked like he had one hand, and he just used the other one. He caught the football, and great play there by Demontrez.
Burrows, one of the 23 seniors being honored today, and he's hoping to have a big game in front of the home crowd. Out of the shotgun, three receivers, going to hand off to LeBron Morris inside, down to the 38-yard line. Look at the replay here, just a little inside read to Morris, and he's really been big. The game we saw him a couple of weeks ago, he had a huge game offensively, had over 100 yards rushing.
Well, he does a good job of doing the dirty runs, getting inside the tackle and doing the hard yards that a lot of people don't like to do.
We saw Morris get over 100 against Morgan State a couple of weeks ago. Pump fake, going to throw this one deep. That's Shaq Davis wide open, 10-5, touchdown South Carolina State. Don't see any flags. There was some contact, but it looks like this one holds. Shaq Davis gets free from the DB, and he's into the end zone for 6, his 5th touchdown of the season. Let's look at the replay.
Great job. Good double move there by Shaq. Shaq gave him a little hitch and go step there and was wide open there, made the play. Touchdown Bulldogs.
He just lost him on the route.
He did.
Little dancing for Shaq Davis, 6'5", redshirt freshman, spot kick, and that was blocked. Field goal was blocked. The extra point, rather, and that goes into the end zone. They can still return this. This is playable. He's returning it back. He drops it, and just a mess of an extra point finally ends, and it's 6-0 South Carolina State. So the Bulldogs strike first blood, and let's see if we can look at this again. There it is.
Gave up some penetration up the middle there. And number 92.
Yeah, Aaron Motley, junior out of Richmond, Virginia, got a big paw on it.
Yeah, that was a very big paw. He was able to block it and scoop and score. And in high school, that thing is actually dead at the time. But in college football, you actually can return it for 2 points there.
A little jawing between the two teams. And, you know, Howard is just trying to fight here. One game all year they've won, and that was against Delaware State. They're trying to end the season with a little positive here. But South Carolina State, they're on the board first. 6-0, they lead the Howard Bisons back after the... And back on the MEAC Digital Network game here for South Carolina State and Howard on ESPN3. Tyler Cupp, Coach Demetrius Davis on the call. As 6-0, the Bulldogs lead it over Howard. A quick scoring drive for the Bulldogs. About a 40-yard touchdown pass from Fields to Shaq Davis. Here is Howard. Actually one of the best returning teams on special teams in the MEAC. That's one of the few categories that are in the top 4. But it was a short kick, and the Bisons will take it around the 30-yard line.
Well, if you're Howard coming out now, you gave up a quick score, which that's the last thing you want to do, getting off the bus. But now you got to come out and you kind of run the football, get a little control of the game here. The last thing you want to do is go 3 and out and get this ball back to South Carolina State.
Let's look at the offense for Howard, and they're down to their third-string quarterback. They've had all types of issues, which we'll get to. Ramar Williams gets the start. He's only got 14 attempts on the season. A lot of freshmen up front, 3 on the offensive line for the Bisons. Going to be a handoff straight ahead to the back, and he's going to power his way for positive yardage here, but not much. And that big defensive line is going to be key. South Carolina State, second in the MEAC Conference against the run, giving up just 75 yards per game, and it's because of the big fellas, Tyrell Goodwin, Roderick Perry, and Xavier Johnson.
Well, the games that we've been here to do, we've called Tyrell Goodwin's name a lot. So he's always in the backfield. He comes in the back. He's a frequent flyer back there, so he's got a lot of mileage back there in the backfield.
We call Goodwin, Roderick Perry, and Xavier Johnson the natural disasters back there. They wreak all kinds of havoc. Typhoon, earthquake, you name it. Under center is Howard. Ramar with the handoff to the back. Nothing doing there. It's going to be hard to establish the run against this South Carolina State defensive line. Perry and Johnson have 14 tackles for loss combined. Goodwin adds another 9. He's third in the conference as we see the handoff here. They got a new fullback for the Bisons. It's Demontre Buxton, who is out of Rock Hill, South Carolina. He had to come over from the defensive line.
And we mentioned earlier that they're starting 3 freshmen on the offensive line. So going against that defensive line, that's not a good way to do it.
Trips right side, receiver left side. They're in the shotgun. A little hitch route right at the first down yard marker. Let's see if they got it. Going to be very close. We'll see. They're moving the sticks, but not quite the first down. We'll see if they give it to them. The pass was caught by none other than Kyle Anthony, the all-time leading receiver for the Bisons. Brings up 4th and 1.
And we mentioned earlier that Kyle had caught at least a ball in each game that he's played since he's been at Howard University. So that streak is still continuing.
There you go. Check it off. Kyle Anthony continues the streak. Good call there, D. Kyle Anthony, the school's all-time leading receiver, 187 catches, make that 188. As Howard will get set up to punt here, and a timeout called by South Carolina State. Could Buddy Pugh be thinking fake situation here, or he's not sure how many players are out there on the field?
Well, I think they might have had too many out on the field, and at this time you got to also be prepared for a fake because Howard is kind of playing with house money right now with not with a whole lot to lose now. So a fake here would not be bad.
Look at the replay of the touchdown. A beautiful pass. I mean, that's how you draw it up in practice. And it was a great route ran by Shaq Davis. He lost the DB on the route.
Yeah, like we said earlier, a great double move. Gave him the little hitch. DB bit on the hitch, and he ran right by him.
In the defensive backfield for the Bisons, coach, you've got, let's see here, 2 freshmen, 2 sophomores, and you've got another freshman linebacker. A lot of inexperience on this defense for the Bisons this year. Here's the punt. And this will be by Damian Gillespie.
Good punt there. You see South Carolina State elected not to have a return guy back preparing for the fake. So great punt there. Put balls on the 20 would make South Carolina State have to go 80 yards here for a score.
So Corey Fields threw his 8th touchdown of the season and surpassed 1,000 yards on the year. Been so impressed with what I've seen out of that redshirt freshman. Of course, Tyrese Nick started the year at QB, but Buddy Pugh was telling everybody, media and everyone that asked, Corey Fields may end up being the guy by the end of the year, but these two get along so well. They motivate each other. Right. They talk to each other. They're great teammates, Tyrese Nick and Corey Fields. Fields is your guy right now. He's on your screen. Just surpassed 1,000 yards, and his 8th touchdown hit up Shaq Davis on the first drive of the game. Handoff straight ahead. Not much doing there. The Bison defensive line closed up quickly.
Yeah, try to run a little inside zone there. Try to get some positive yardage there. Actually, a little power play there with the guard pull there. And the Howard defense stands up strong there.
That was Broken Birdarian. Darian Brokenberg, a freshman defensive tackle, good-looking player too. 6'3", 240 out of Manassas, Virginia. 2 receivers right, 1 left. High snap, going to be a swing pass to the back, and he's got some space. Look at this, 30, 40, 50, other side of the field, stiff arm, still on his feet, far side, inside the 30-yard line, and a new set of downs for the Bulldogs in Bison territory.
And that was Tyrese Nick that came in the game. We just talked about him playing quarterback, so Coach Pugh trying to figure out a way to get him on the field and get the ball in his hands.
How about the design of that play, throwing the quarterback out on a little flat pattern, and Buddy Pugh loves his ability to run out in space. And you saw it right there. Big first down for the Bulldogs. They're set up in Bison territory for the second time of the afternoon. Out of the shotgun, 3 receivers, 2 backs. Little pump fake, going to hand it off to the back straight ahead on a draw play. A stiff arm right in the face mask, and he gets down inside the 25 to the 24-yard line. I believe that was LeBron Morris yet again.
Yes, great tough run by LeBron there on the delay draw play there, and he was able to run into a couple guys and to make something out of nothing.
SC State, you feel like even though it is extremely early in this game, second drive, they can do pretty much whatever they want. They've got this Bison defense on their heels. They've opened up the playbook. Back to pass. Throw over the far side, and that's incomplete. A little flag route for Demontrez Burrows, incomplete.
Yeah, they tried to run a little smash concept out there where they had a little guy in the flat and was going to try to hit Demontrez up on the corner ball there. Pretty good defense by Howard there, about the young guys we talked about earlier. Great job for them on defense.
See some of the big guys up front. Tyson Gray, redshirt sophomore, 6'4", 200, good-looking player. He's had a strong season for the Bulldogs on the offensive line. 2 receivers left, 2 receivers right. Ball is around the 25-yard line. 9:17 remaining in the first quarter, and the Bulldogs are on the move again. Little slant pattern over the middle. Demontrez Burrows looks like he picked up the first down. Yes, he did. Inside the 20 to the 16-yard line.
Great route there, and you can see Demontrez just use his hands. The ball never gets to his body there. He goes and he snatches this ball up out of the air, which is the way you want to teach your receivers to catch the football.
You see a back shot there. Great shot by our camera crew of the offense, a different angle. Fields back to pass, going to throw this one over the head of Shaq Davis, and a flag comes in. I didn't see pass interference, but Shaq Davis was asking for it.
Yeah, it looked like the guy might have grabbed him there, right there at the goal line there. Being that he's 6'5", I mean, you probably got to get a little piece of him somewhere. Yeah.
Little hold kind of turned him a little bit, maybe?
Yeah.
I know you don't like that as a coach. I know you don't like that. I know you don't.
Well, if you're a receiver coach, you're saying yeah, yeah, yeah. And if you're the DB coach, you're saying no, no, no. So.
Well, as a former quarterback, I'm sure you're calling for it. So the pass interference is going to put the Bulldogs inside the 5? Yeah. So first and goal for the Bulldogs, and they are set up in great position here to get their second TD of the game. 3 receivers, 2 right. Corey Fields going to hand off to Datron James, and he just falls forward. That defensive line got a good push on the interior line.
Yeah, hats off to Howard up front on the defensive line. They was able to win the line of scrimmage there. You can see the ball being snapped. You see some white shirts in the backfield there, which ends up in being a tackle for a loss there.
Got some good-looking kids up front in the Bisons.
Really
They're
do.
all young.
Yes, really do.
Out of the shotgun, 2 receivers right, 1 left. 2 backs, extra blocker. Oh, and the Bisons jumped. Free play, but they're going to blow it dead.
Little contact was made there, whereas it's a different call from when you just jump in the neutral zone, but whenever you make contact there, go ahead and blow it dead there. So,
you know, you look at Corey Fields, redshirt freshman, we talk about his arm, we talk about his decision-making, but as a redshirt freshman, the pulleys that he has in the pocket, pretty strong.
Yeah, he's one of those quarterbacks that, look like he's just a cool cucumber, like we like to say. He sits back there and he don't get rattled, don't get high, don't get low, just kind of keep playing, and that's what you want at your quarterback position.
Second down and goal at the 3. 2 receivers right, 1 left out of that shotgun spread that they Been in the whole game. Handoff straight ahead. Powers his way. Can he get into the end zone? Second effort. No signal yet.
Look like they're going to mark him short there.
Oh, just shy at the 1.
We'll look at the replay here, see if he might have could have got in. Oh.
Ooh, that's close.
That's very close.
That's close. So, no touchdown, 3rd and goal at the 1. You always wait for the official signal.
Exactly.
I just run behind Big Alex Taylor. And they do. Give it to LeBron Morris. Walks into the end zone. Touchdown, Bulldogs. South Carolina State goes up 12-0, penning the extra point, and they ran right behind the 3-time MEAC Offensive Lineman of the Week.
Yeah, you're going from a play-by-play guy to a coach. Great call. You run behind your best players, and that's what most coaches do, run behind your best player.
So here comes the extra point for South Carolina State as LeBron Morris punches it in, his 5th touchdown of the season. Spot kick, and that is good. South Carolina State leads it over Howard 13-0 with 7:17 remaining. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3 from Orangeburg. Back to Orangeburg, South Carolina. Our score, South Carolina State 13, Howard 0, as the Bulldogs have scored on their first 2 possessions of the contest. And the Bulldogs will kick it back away to the Bisons, and they will have their 2nd possession of the day. The first one was a 3-and-out. Here comes the return on the far side, and he's drugged down viciously around the 20. And this is what happens, Coach Davis, when the offense starts rolling, when your team starts getting up ahead, all units of the field start playing better. They all start feeding off that momentum. Special teams, defense, those other parts of the field, they start playing a little better.
I think sometimes people take for granted how important momentum is. You know, momentum actually is what everybody needs as far as your special teams, as far as your defense, as far as your offense. Everybody plays better when the momentum is good.
I've always kind of compared it when the other units of the field, special teams, defense, do better, when the offense is doing better, kind of like a pitcher in baseball. If a pitcher gets that 2, 3, 4 run lead, he's going to pitch a little better in the game. He's going to have a little comfort, going to get a little fired up. And here's a little misdirection play to the running back. Look at this physical run up to the 40-yard line. And that is a big run for the back. That is Dedrick Parson, a player that we heard a lot about coming into this game. Dedrick Parson, one of the better players for this Bison football team. He had a great year last year. Look at that nice run right up the middle. Parson has 500 yards rushing, 2 scores. Not as good of a year as he had last year, but still one of the top players on this offense.
And a great run by him. You know, I like to see the way he got in and he kept his feet moving and didn't give up on the play.
Pro-style offense under center for the QB, Ramar Williams. Kyle Anthony lined up wide to the near side. It's going to be a handoff straight ahead to Dedrick, and he just runs right into the pile at the 40. 6:15 remaining in this first quarter. Get a little bit of a look at the South Carolina State defense, which is 2nd in the MEAC in rushing, but in the pass category, they are dead last in the MEAC. They give up just under 300 yards in the air. They do have 16 sacks on the season and 7 interceptions, but they give up a lot in between the 20s. Going to be a screen pass to Kyle Anthony near side, breaks a tackle, gets out across the 45 to the 46-yard line, and the tackle was made by Kalik Anthony, the redshirt senior from Norway, South Carolina.
Well, I like what Howard's doing here. They're trying to get the ball into their best player's hand and give them an opportunity to get some first downs, and as long as they can get first downs, South Carolina State offense is on the sidelines.
Big 3rd down and 3 for Howard. You feel like even though it's so early in this game, they just got to get a first down here for a little confidence.
Well, you got to get some first downs in order to get touchdowns, and any kind of confidence you can get going right now is important to them.
3rd down and 3. Back to passes. Ramar being chased. Sacked! Sacked back at the 37. Number of Bulldogs back in there to get him. And you see the main one, Chad Gilchrist, redshirt senior at a Strom Thurmond High School.
Yeah, gives out of Johnston, South Carolina, down with the Strom Thurmond guys, the Rebels, where they play it down that way. Coach Hillary, one of Coach Hillary's disciples.
That's a tough place to play over in Strom-Thurmond with the Rebels. Good playoff team. And there is a long punt, going to let it roll. No, Bulldogs going to pick it up and try to return it. And a flag is down. Kind of a messy play there.
Yeah, normally when the flag is thrown in there, you normally have a little block in the back or something on the return.
Let's see if we can catch the block in the back here, Coach. No, don't see it there. It might have been on the far side.
Might have been on the far side there.
So South Carolina State will have it. But let's see what the flag is. See where they're going to be positioned on the football field. Only one first down for Howard in this game. It was that 15-yard run by Dedrick Parson, pardon me. Personal foul on Howard.
Yeah, personal foul on that. I guess we missed that one.
Yeah.
Thinking that it might have been a block in the back. Very seldom do you get personal fouls on those kind of plays, but must have been unnecessary roughness or something of that nature.
Boy, you saw a shot of big number 70, Shamari Williams, redshirt freshman out of York. He's going to get some playing time here today. Yeah, he's into the game. That's a big youngin' right there, Coach.
Yeah, he is.
No doubt. I hope he played center for the basketball team.
I hope he was out there somewhere.
You know he can box out. Just stand there. Two receivers right, one left. Out of the shotgun. Oh, little pump fake. Fields, good protection. Going to throw this downfield. Got a man. That is incomplete. Oh, man, just overshot him a tad. Pass was intended for Roderick Thomas, who's got a lot of playing time here in the spot of Wolverine,
right,
who is out for the season. Let's see the replay here. Little pump fake left side, going downfield. Just overshot him.
Just overshot him, just over his fingertips. A great play call and way to be aggressive there by South Carolina State to take a shot there early.
Second down and 10. Here we go. Fields going to throw, and that is incomplete. And DeMontrez Burrows tried to one-hand that one like he did on the first series.
Yeah, I can hear the receiver coach saying, now, man, use two. God bless you with two. Use both of them. He got away with the one-hand catch earlier, so he wanted to see if he can get an encore there with the one-handed catch.
Actually, I can hear you saying that on the sideline. So Burrows just missed that one. And it's third down and 10. See what the Bulldogs draw up here. Third down and 10 around midfield. Fields with a hard count. Back to pass. Being pressured. Going to throw this one deep far side, and it's incomplete. And I think that was, yes, it was, for South Carolina State. Tyler Shadwell, one of the seniors.
Yeah, that was one of the seniors out of Lexington, South Carolina, that's getting a chance to get in the game and play on senior night.
Yeah, Tyler Shadwell out of Lexington, South Carolina. I covered him in high school for a couple of games. Senior getting a shot to catch a pass on senior day. And you know what? We talked about that in the pregame. You don't normally see that in football. You might see it in low-level college ball, but senior day, when you get 23 seniors, it's hard to get everybody playing time, especially when some of them are big guys. But it's good to see Buddy Pugh putting Shadwell into the lineup and trying to get him a catch on this day.
Well, this is the last time these guys have an opportunity to play in Oliver C. Dawson Stadium, so you want to give them some memories when they come back. You know, they can remember senior day when they had the opportunity to play.
Back on the MEAC Digital Network, 13-0. Back after. And back on the MEAC Digital Network's coverage of South Carolina State and Howard Bison football on ESPN3. The Bisons will have the football. 1st and 10. Out of the shotgun, takes the snap, drop back to pass, going to throw this deep to Kyle Anthony, and that is incomplete. Even if he caught it, I don't think he would have been in bounds, but you look at Kyle Anthony, and we'll talk about him throughout the broadcast. We've got a couple of notes on him. He's had 4 different QBs, this being his 4th today. 3 different coaches. Actually, technically, today is his 4th.
Yes.
With an interim coach today due to Prince being on administrative leave. But he has still played through and caught a pass in every single game he's appeared in for the Bisons.
And I think that says a lot about him. I mean, it's one of the things you have to know when you're dealing with young people now. One of the easiest things you can do in this world now is quit. And he seems to be a guy that's persevered through different coaches, persevered through different quarterbacks, and still out there playing. I think that says a lot about the testament of his character.
He actually broke the record of Gary Harrell. They call him Coach Flea when he was here for the Bisons. And he caught passes from Jay Walker, who does the MEAC Game of the Week on the big ESPN. Harrell played from 90 to 93 and is a coach over at Alabama State. But Flea actually recruited Kyle Anthony. That pass was almost intercepted. But how about that? Coach Flea recruited Kyle Anthony, and he broke his record.
Yeah, that's kind of similar to Coach Pugh and Coach Jeffries. Coach Jeffries Coach Pugh, and then Coach Pugh come back and break his record. So, yeah, that's what he did.
Look at the replay, and that was just out of the hands of the intended receiver, the running back. They tried to just do a little flat pattern there on the near side. Dedrick Parson right through his hands. Upcoming is a 3rd and 15 in the shadow of their own end zone.
Not a lot of plays in the playbooks that are good call here on the 3rd and 15 on your own 5-yard line.
4-down lineman, going to be a handoff straight ahead, gets free, stiff arm, look at that, coming far side, big run here, out of the 15 and close to the 1st down yard marker. Where did they spot him out?
I think it's going to be a little short there, but a great run there, a great tough run.
I like how he runs the football. Watch this on the replay. Gets through that hole, little shifty move, stiff arm, brings him down. Look at me, I'm doing the color.
Yeah, you're doing good. You the play-by-play, you're a one-man band.
A physical run by Parson comes up short, and the Bisons will have to punt.
Yeah, punting from their own 17-yard line there. South Carolina State got a little pressure there, but he was able to get it off there.
Bulldogs are going to let that bounce into SC State territory at about the 44-yard line, and that's where the Bulldogs will put it in play. With 3 minutes remaining in the first quarter, the Bulldogs have scored on 2 of their first 3 offensive drives. Let's see what they do here. Orangeburg, South Carolina, there's the marching 101. Let me tell you something. They put on a show last week in the game against North Carolina A&T. They had to get them off the field. The players were on the field ready for the second half kickoff, but they were still playing.
Well, the players got to know when the 101's going, you got to let them finish. You go ahead and stay in the game, becomes secondary at that time. You got to let the 101 go ahead and finish.
2 receivers right, 1 left. Takes a snap, handoff, near side. Look at that pickup block. And he's going to be drug out of bounds for a short gain. That was Omar Cummings out of Beaufort, South Carolina.
Yeah, good run play there. Pretty good tackle there by Howard University there. One thing I can say about Howard, they're out here and they came to play. Mm-hmm. With all the adversity they have going through, I've been impressed with the way these guys are playing.
Give credit to Yancey Washington on that pickup block, the tight end out of North Charleston, a redshirt freshman. He's got a lot of potential. Corey Fields out of the shotgun. Good shot of him and that big offensive line. The Hogs up front. All going to throw this one fly in the air to DeMontrez Burrows, and that's incomplete, and a flag is down. I saw some jersey holding, but I saw it on both sides.
Yeah, I think he grabbed a little cloth there when he tried to get out of his break there. I think that made it an easy call there for the official that was right on top of it.
Let's see if we can get a good shot of it here on the right side of the field. Well, he was beat in behind him, but they're still going to call pass interference. sometimes when they see that arm extend, I've heard
Right.
coaches tell me that when the arm extends, they almost have to call it every time.
And we talked about it earlier, you know, the DB coaches, they complain that, you know, you can put hands on them with the ball in the air, and then wide receiver coach said with the ball, no hands should be on when the ball's in the air. So as a DB, you just want to run.
Well said. Corey Fields with, this is 5 wideouts. Now one of them lines up at running back. That is Tyrese Nick. It's going to be that swing pass to Nick, the backup QB. Here he comes, and he is tackled for a short gain. Looked like that similar play they got about 35, 40 yards on in one of their offensive drives.
Well, I think this goes to show you what kind of player Tyrese Nick is. The coaches feel like they need to get him on the field somewhere and put the ball in his hands. I think he's a dynamic player with the ball in his hands, and great job to have both of your quarterbacks on the field at the same time.
Only a 2-yard pickup, 2nd and 8. 3 wideouts left, 2 right. Now 1 is in motion. That's Tyrese Nick coming near side, and he's going to get it again at the 40. 35, makes a shifty move. Flag is down, and he's out of bounds.
Yeah, normally on that perimeter like that, that's normally when you get a little block in the back there too. But now I was 0-1 on my block in the back call earlier, so I'm going to wait and see this time and see what the call is.
Looks like they're going to call holding there. Yep.
I am 1-1 now.
Block in the back.
Yeah, anytime you do a lot of perimeter runs and perimeter passes, you know, it's a long time for those receivers to be out on the edge. We call them being out on the island blocking.
Yeah.
You know, and the longer you're out there, the officials tend to take a look out there a little longer.
So 1st down and 18. Ball is around the 45-yard line of Howard. Howard all out of position here. Now they get set. Fields back to pass. 3-step drop. Looking. Going to fire this one downfield. Shaq Davis caught at the 10. Out of bounds at the 5. Big Shaq Davis. 1st and goal for the Bulldogs. Upcoming.
Well, it must be nice to be able to drop back and make that call there to a big 6'5" receiver with long arms. You know, his arms hang down to his kneecaps there, so that probably make him about 7'5" when he extends his arms.
Oh, man, he is a good-looking receiver. Buddy Pugh just gleams when he talks about Shaq Davis and the potential he has. Handoff straight ahead to Omar Cummings, and he's knocked down at the 5. 2nd and goal. Clock ticking under a minute.
Yeah, you get a chance to look at Big Shaq there out of Summerville, South Carolina. 6'5", 210 pounds. The most impressive thing, I think, on the screen right now when you see that F word, freshman, meaning that he has some eligibility left. I know they're excited about that.
They get big receivers in Somerville. A.J. Green comes to mind.
Yeah, he was a pretty good player there, wasn't he?
Pretty good. Here's a fade route, corner of the end zone. Did he catch that one and bring it in? Yes, he did. Touchdown, Bulldogs, DeMontrez Burrows. Oh, on the fade route, corner of the end zone. What a beautiful pass by Corey Fields.
What a beautiful pass. He put the ball in a place where only his guy could get the ball. Great pass, great touch. And way to bring it in there by DeMontrez.
Just a beautiful pass, corner of the end zone. DeMontrez Burrows with that long wingspan hauls it in, got both feet in bounds, and another touchdown for the Bulldogs, 19-0. Spot kick, and that is good. We'll keep it right here. I love the creativity of the offense of the Bulldogs here, rolling out Tyrese Nick and really just letting Corey Fields drop back and sling it.
Well, and I like giving both of them the opportunity to play. You
Yep.
know, anytime you can put 2 skilled guys on the field like that, it opens up the doors for a lot of stuff.
So 20-0, the Bulldogs lead it. And unfortunately, the Howard Bisons, not going to say we saw this coming, but we knew it was going to be a tough game for Howard. They've come in with a lot of issues off the field. We talked about it early in the pregame. Their head coach earlier this week, Ron Prince, was put on administrative leave. There was some controversy off the field. You had some players just decide not to play anymore, enter the transfer portal, and that included their top quarterback coming in, Kalen Newton, who has more yards, passing and rushing combined, than the other quarterbacks that have played so far this year.
Yeah, and I think I would like to spend more time talking about the guys that are actually here on the sideline, because it takes a different kind of guy to be able to fight through some of this adversity. You know, I tell my kids a lot, you know, quitting becomes habitual. You know, once you start quitting and leaving when things get tough, you know, you got a lot of life ahead of you to live, and that it becomes habitual and contagious. So my hat's off to the guys that actually are out here and still fighting for Howard.
No, I agree 100%, Coach. This is a learning curve for a lot of these young kids. They're going to take their lumps. They're going to remember this. And, hey, it's only a 3-score game in the first quarter. A lot of football left for the Bisons. It's going to be an uphill battle against this powerful, huge, big 3-man front for the South Carolina State Bulldogs. And it's going to be a handoff far side. And he's going to get a short gain, and that will more than likely end the first quarter. And it does. South Carolina State is going to go and, oh, wait a minute, do we have a penalty? Okay, that is the end of the first quarter as South Carolina State leads it over the Howard Bisons 20-0. Let's take a break on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3. Bulldogs on top. Start of the second after this.
What would you like the power to do?
Back to Orangeburg, South Carolina, and the OBG for Senior Day as the South Carolina State Bulldogs lead it over the Howard Bisons 20-0. Howard with the football. Going to hand it off straight ahead and get not much going there. It'll be 3rd down and long upcoming for the Bisons. We just got the first quarter stats there, Coach Davis, and a lot jumps out to you, and it's all on the South Carolina State side. Corey Fields, 8 of 15, a $169, 2 touchdowns through the air. And receiving, it is Demontrez Burrows with a touch and Shaq Davis with a touchdown.
Yeah, and I think one of the biggest stats you have to look at here is Howard only have 1 first down through the first quarter.
Yep.
You know, whereas South Carolina State have 8 first downs. So Howard needs to figure out a way to get some first downs so they can stay on the field here.
3rd down and 8. Tuck and run for the QB, and he's going to be tackled around the 30-yard line. That is well short of a first down. And it has been tough sledding for the starting quarterback, Williams. You see Patrick Godbolt, freshman out of Blythewood, South Carolina, make the stop.
We've called Godbolt's name a couple times here as a true freshman.
We really have, and that's good to see. SC State bringing the house. It's a low binding punt, going to be set up for a return here. Coming near side, stiff arm, still on his feet. That's Demontrez Burrows out of bounds around the 45-yard line. Boy, that was shaping up to be a decent return there for Burrows.
Yeah, good return. He was able to get it on the bounce. Howard University is using their receiver, number 11, there as their punter and their kicker there today.
Yep.
As one of the stats that we got earlier that he would be filling in as a kicker. So great job by him just getting in there and getting that ball off.
Yeah, that is Damian Gillespie. And they also have a wide receiver doing the kicking today, Jordan Alley.
Right.
Only notable stat for the Bisons, Dedrick Parson, 5 carries, 37 yards. Back to pass is Corey Fields. Looking, going to fire this one near side. Intercepted at the 20 by Howard. Coming far side, 45. Coming midfield, going to try to return this all the way, and he's tripped up by Shaq Davis. And what a great play made. That was number 18 for Howard. Here's the replay. What do you see, Davis?
It looked like they wanted to do a back shoulder fade to Shaq there, and number 18 came in and picked it off.
Jalen Davis with the pick. We'll be back after this on the MEAC. Back now on the MEAC Digital Network, ESPN3. South Carolina State leads it over Howard 20-0. And last we saw, Jalen Smith had an interception. And we're going to try to recap as best we can what we just saw. We missed a little bit of action as you see Howard getting set to punt. It was a 3-and-out for the Bisons, so they couldn't turn the interception into anything. And they'll kick it away to the Bulldogs here. And that's going to go out of bounds. We will keep it right here. So let's recap what we just saw there, Coach Davis. You had the interception. Jalen Davis had a great read on the route, jumped it, took it to midfield, but 3 and out, nothing doing there. And the Bison's got to kick it away to the Bulldogs.
Yeah, the South Carolina State defense was able to come out and make up for the turnover and get them on a 3 and out and had the bend but don't break mentality there. You can see a play from earlier there. That was the first catch of the day there for DeMontrez there.
And we'll recap the first quarter with a touchdown to Shaq Davis. And there was the little swing pass to Tyrese Nick, the backup quarterback. Had a great catch and run, a very creative-looking play there on the offense. And LeBron Morris punches it in for his 5th touchdown of the season. And there was that big pass downfield that set up the fade in the back corner of the end zone to DeMontrez Burrows. And here's a little screen pattern. Gets free, and he's tripped up at the 25. And boy, oh boy, if he didn't trip him up, he could have been gone.
Yeah, that was Rodriguez Thomas there. He had some wheels there, had a little bit of space in front of him there. If he could have got out of that tackle, he probably would have been still running.
That is Jalen Davis who had the interception. A shoestring tackle to save a touchdown, possibly.
That is definitely what you call a touchdown-saving tackle.
2nd down and 2. 2 receivers left, 1 right. 2 backs. Going to hand it off LeBron Morris. Follows his tacklers in front. And he's going to look like he just got the first down out across the 30. Let's see if he got that right foot or left foot spot. And it's the right foot. First down.
It looked like South Carolina State realized kind of was a little too aggressive last time and turned the ball over. Now they're going to come out and just kind of run the football and just control the game.
This Howard defense has given up 47 points per game. They're last in the MEAC, giving up over 400 yards a game. High snap, and Fields is going to keep it himself, and he's hit hard at the 40. Oh boy, the hit was a little high, but I think the player just had trouble slowing down his momentum. Let's look at the replay. This is Fields. He's not much of a runner, but he makes smart decisions when he brings it in and takes it.
Yeah, he's very smart with the football, and he does a good job of distributing the football to the different receivers out there. Great run there. He didn't like what he saw. He took it and got 8 yards on the play.
Back to pass is Fields. 3-step drop. Fires. Wide open receiver. That's caught inside Bison territory at the 40. Shaq Davis again. Mama, there goes that man.
There goes that man, Big Shaq, and he's having a great day today, a career day today already, catching the football here.
That actually kind of boxed out on that catch.
Right. Used his big 6'5" frame there, played basketball, which he was a very good basketball player from what I've heard at Somerville High School.
3rd catch of the day for Shaq Davis. Oh, it's going to be a backwards pass. Going to be throwing this one down long, and it's incomplete. Almost had Shaq wide open in the end zone, just overshot him. Was that Tyrese Nick with the throw? I believe it was.
That was Tyrese Nick, and I wanted to say earlier that I think that was something that they were setting up with the quarterback there. When they kept throwing a backwards pass there, that they were going to go downfield with a double pass here sooner or later.
Well, he had a hand in his face, and he had to put a little more arc on that pass.
Right.
Oh, well-designed play. I tell you what, offense has been extremely creative today for the Bulldogs. 3 receivers. Hard count. Trying to get the Bisons to jump. They've opened up the playbook here in Orangeburg. Ball around the 40. Little pump fake. Going to fire over the middle, and that's off the hands of the intended receiver for SC State. That was DePrince Haynes, redshirt sophomore out of Spring Valley.
First opportunity to give him a chance to call his name today.
I think that's the first time we've called his name all season.
Going to bring up a big 3rd down here. You know, it goes to show when you miss an opportunity to make a big play, and then now you're faced with 3rd and 10. You have to take advantage of those big plays when you have a chance to make them.
3 wideouts left. Nope, now 3 right as DeMontrez Burrows lines up in the slot on the near side. Look at this, 5 wide. Here they come. Going to roll to his right, being chased, going to throw, and it's incomplete. So 4th down upcoming for the Bulldogs on the Bison side of the field, but too long for a field goal. Dylan Bresden just out of his field goal range, and the Bulldogs will punt it away.
I think it's safe to say that Howard dodged a big bullet there, not giving up the big play on the trick play there and being able to get a stop there. So hats off to Howard for getting off the field there.
Even though the Bisons have struggled on offense, this game is still in the balance.
Still a lot of football to be played.
3-score game. South Carolina State really hasn't put in the kill shot yet. 9:34 left in the first half. High punt. They're going to try to down this at the 1, and they do.
Yeah, great job by your punt coverage team. You couldn't draw that up any better to be able to punt the ball from there and get the ball down on the 2-yard line.
Beautiful job by the punt team, down by Khalik Anthony. Back after this, Bisons will
into action. What would you like the power to do?
Back to Orangeburg, South Carolina, and look at this. Shadow their own end zone for the 3rd time today. The Bisons have the ball at their own 2-yard line. Going to hand it off straight ahead, trying to get some room, and they do. I think that's Parson, and it is.
Yeah, we talked about Parson earlier. He runs hard, man. He definitely runs with a passion there, and that was a great run to get them out of the shadows of their own end zone.
About 50 yards rushing in this first half for Parson. He's really been the only offensive star for the Bisons. They've had trouble getting the ball to their all-star wideout, Kyle Anthony.
Yeah, you could see that he ran a little power on the 2-yard line, able to get that ball out, which is big whenever you're on the shadows of your own line. You don't want to punt there on the 2-yard line because you can't get a whole lot of depth there.
Yeah. 1st and 10. Handoff straight ahead to Parson, and just ran into the Red Sea of the Bulldog defensive line, the red wall, if you will. There's Janelle Brown. Haven't called his name yet. Good-looking player for the Bulldogs, one of the defensive leaders for this team. Redshirt senior at a St. Stephen, South Carolina. Went to Timberland High School. Football power in the Palmetto State.
Yeah, down there with Coach Wright. No, Timberland is not Wright. That's Cross with Coach Wright. What's my guy name that's at Timberland? You remember?
I haven't done a Timberland game. Aren't they the Wolverines?
I think so.
Back to pass. Going to throw over the middle. Incomplete. Drops it at the 20. And he might have would have picked up 5 yards. And that's Kyle Anthony. I mean, you know when he's getting the ball, there's going to be 3 red jerseys around him.
Yeah, everybody in the stands know when he's going to get the ball. So the defense is there, and he was able to be there, and he just had too many guys around him.
Saphir Kelly with a big hit. Eight minutes left here in the first half, and it's a 3rd down and 9. I believe the Bison still only have 1 first down here in this first half.
Well, actually, the run there made 2.
That's right, so 2 first downs. Thank you. Wide receivers are bunched up tight, and a timeout is called by Howard. A timeout on the field for the Bisons. They're going to think this one over. 20-0. South Carolina State leads it at the 8-minute mark of the 2nd quarter. And this is a Howard team that struggles to score. 17 points per game this year. They've given up 47. And offensively, their numbers are just kind of blah. About 100 yards on the ground, 180 passing. They're just trying to find that play to spark them, to get a first down here, get a first down there, and punch one in the end zone. And a score for them could do a lot of good for the momentum of this game in the Bisons.
Yeah, we talked about the momentum earlier. You know, you never know. It only takes one play for the momentum of a game to shift. So if they can make a big play or get a first down, get a touchdown here, it's still a lot of football to be played, and this still can be a football game here.
So 3rd down and 9, and they change up the formation. Now they're lined up in a shotgun spread. Back to pass is Ramar Williams, and it closes up, and he's sacked. Multiple Bulldogs back at the 10. A number of guys back there to get him. You had Bruce Johnson, Tyrell Goodwin, a couple of seniors. Let's see who was the first to get him.
I think Bruce was the first one there. Well, they all kind of met there. We might have to go up under the hood and get a photo finish to see who was there first.
Back to punt is Howard. Oh, not a good punt. That was off the side of his foot. And that is going to be down at the 8. Oh, no. That's a negative yard punt.
That's negative.
That is negative. Ooh, that is tough for Howard football fans.
Yeah, that makes it tough on your defense there. When you're least thinking punting there, you can at least flip the field or make it at least a 40-yard punt, and then you get a negative thing. That's a big blow to Howard's defense there.
You know, and I wanted to give this stat in the first quarter, but this defense has really held their own in some games this year. Last week, against North Carolina Central, they held them to 4 punts, a fumble in the first half. But the offense couldn't keep up. The offense couldn't put any points on the board, and they were able to pull away and get the win and defeat the Bisons.
Well, when you're in football, it's kind of like your golf game. You know, when you're hitting it good off the tee, sometimes your putting is not good. So they're playing good on defense right now. They just can't get the offense quite going to help out right now.
It took you 3 games to get a golf reference in. I can't believe that. Handoff straight ahead to the back. I think that's LeBron Morris as he gets it just inside the 10 to the 9. Yep, that is LeBron Morris. He's got a touchdown here today.
Good, tough run there. A little inside zone action there.
He ran into his blocker. They went shoulder to shoulder and knocked them down. 2nd down and 8. They can pick up a first down and still get 1st and goal at the 2. Another hard count for Corey Fields. Prince Haynes getting a lot of playing time for the Bulldogs.
He is.
Redshirt sophomore has been in there a lot as a blocker. Fires over the middle, and that is caught. Touchdown, South Carolina State. Shaq Davis over the middle, having a career day. The redshirt freshman is doing it all.
Great slant route, great pass in there, great execution by South Carolina State there.
Shaq Davis over the middle, little slant pattern, and boy, that's all too easy for the SC State offense.
Makes play calling a lot easier when you can have a big 6'5" guy that you can throw the ball to down in the red zone.
Low snap kick, and that is good. It was a great throw by Corey Fields. He's got his 3rd touchdown of the afternoon, and it's 27-0. South Carolina State leads Howard. They are rolling in the OBG. Back on the MEAC Digital.
Ambitions into action. What would you like the power to do?
Back now on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3. Tyler Cup, Coach Demetrius Davis, as you get a shot of South Carolina State kicking off to Howard. Here we go. 6:24 remaining here in the first half, and it has been all Bulldogs this afternoon.
When that Tyler, I got to take the time to say I forgot one of my colleagues' name, but now the head coach of Timberland is Art Craig.
Thank you.
And now how that slipped my brain, I don't know. But Art, if you're listening, charge it to my brain and not my heart.
There's a shot of the SC State defense that has pitched a shutout thus far today, trying to keep it that way. I'll see if I can get with the sports information crew and look at the historic of this SC State defensive effort. They have played outstanding here today. The Bisons have yet to cross the 50. The only time they were on the Bulldogs side of the field was after an interception. And it's going to be a run play up the middle, not much there. And the Bulldogs are getting fired up here. That was Jacoby Durant.
Yeah, that was Jacoby Durant, one of the starting DBs there, that was able to come off the edge there and make the tackle in the backfield, get him a 3-yard tackle for loss.
Clock ticking, about to be under 6 minutes. As you get a view from the officials. That's what the Zebras are looking at. Game of inches right there. Look how close. Got the ball in the hash marks. That's a great shot. For wideout's going to be a play action fake, rolling to his left, looking, fires, and that is incomplete. Oh boy, he had a man downfield but could not get it to him. That was Malik Hyatt, the tight end out of Gastonia.
Yeah, he had him out in the flat and kind of threw it out there, flicked out to him. Ball just kind of went off on the edge of his fingertips there.
That was kind of a duck coming out of his hands, and I'm not sure about hunting season, but I think we're out of duck season.
Yeah, but this time of year you got to catch all the animals that come out their hands. When you're down 27-0, any kind of animal come out, we need to catch it.
Oh, hand off to the back near side, trying to get the edge, tiptoes down the sideline, and he might have picked up the first down. Let's see where they spot the football.
No, it was 3rd and 13, so he got a little ways to go there, Tyler.
Oh, my apologies. I was looking at the wrong yard marker, and that is not going to be a first down. My apologies. I was looking at the first down yard marker, and he tiptoed down the sideline for positive yardage. That was Josiah Crute out of Washington, D.C., where Howard is located.
South Carolina State.
Going to bring out the punt team.
Yeah, South Carolina State seem to have a player down on the sideline there. I think that's why we have the stoppage and play here.
Listen, that was my first error on the broadcast there, Coach, and it came at 5:30 in the first half. I think I'm due that one.
Well, if that's the worst thing that happened to you today, Tyler, you're going to have a pretty good day.
I think so too. Oh, we got an injured player here. That is Janelle Brown, one of the team leaders on defense. So back to punt is Howard yet again. Had a handful of punts in that first quarter and a couple more here in the second. Looks like SC State's bringing the house again.
Yeah, they're coming after this punt here.
Oof, almost got it. And that's going to take a SC State bounce around the 44. And that's where the Bulldogs will put it in play. Great field position yet again for SC State.
Well, we talk a lot when we do the broadcast, on the most important parts of the game we talk about. And we always say those 5 minutes going into halftime, those 5 minutes going out of halftime. But at this point, to kind of stop the bleeding a little bit, Howard needs to get up and get a little stand here and see if they can keep South Carolina State out of the end zone going into the half to see if they can get some kind of momentum going here.
There's the replay of that last scoring drive as Shaq Davis finished it off. A little slant pattern over the middle. We talked all about Shaq Davis and how great he is, but that was an outstanding throw by Corey Fields. Getting it past the defender. Put a little mustard on it, a little zip. Fires over the middle, Demontrez Burrows, 20, 15, 10, 5 into the end zone, touchdown, Demontrez Burrows. Bulldogs up big on Senior Day.
Yeah, they had a little RPO there, hit him on a slant. One play drive there. That's when things are going your way.
Let's look at the replay, little RPO, found him over the middle and split the defenders and took the speed into the end zone. Underrated speed for Demontrez Burrows, and a little shake into the camera, a little shimmy.
A little shimmy shake for the touchdown.
33-0 pending the extra point kick, and that is good. Bulldogs are rolling on Senior Day. And you got to love it when the seniors are having the big day on Senior Day. Demontrez Burrows, 6'2", 218-pound senior out of Charlotte, North Carolina. Played at in the MEAC, North Mecklenburg High School.
North Mecklenburg. There's a lot of schools around there in Mecklenburg County. When you get in the north, you got all the directions of Mecklenburg, north, south, east, and west there in Charlotte.
And, of course, Independence right in the middle.
Right, Independence and Butler. There's a lot of schools there surrounded in that area.
Well, he does have some good speed when he gets going. Burrows with his second touchdown of the day, but how about this? The redshirt freshman Corey Fields, 4 touchdown passes today.
4 touchdown passes. That's the way you want to come out and get your offense going.
So a fair catch by Howard, and they should have the football up at the 20. That is a college rule now. 4:57 left in this first half. And
yeah, he gave a little quick, fair catch there, but once that hand goes over the shoulder there, it's a fair catch.
So 4:57 left. A lot of football in this game. And we're going to say it every time they get the football. It sounds so obvious, but just one scoring drive could possibly get a little momentum and confidence for this Bison team to get something going here. Let's see what they do this time out. That big four-man front for the Bulldogs. They are chomping at the bit. Handoff straight ahead to Parson. Short gain on 1st and 10.
Well, Parson is still running hard there. A little inside zone play. Wasn't a whole lot of daylight there, but he was able to gain about 2-3 yards there going up the middle.
Saw a good shot of the offensive lineman for the Bisons as you look at the replay here. Drug back. Some big boys up front for the Bulldogs. Paul McIver, another senior today out of Batesburg, the Twin Cities. Out of the pistol. Far side, this is Parson. Look at this. Little giddy up in his step, almost picked up the first down. He might have just gotten it.
Yeah, I think it might have been close there. He was able to get the edge there and showed off a little bit of the speed there to get to the sideline there. Little buck sweep action there, get to edge, and I think he will have the first down. Actually, he's a yard short. That is going to be 3rd and 1.
Yard shy. Parsons got some quick feet. Talked about the offensive line earlier and how young they are up front. I mean, 3 freshmen on the right side of the line at center, right guard, and right tackle. And on the other side, you've got Phil Fleming at Lower Richland, Columbia, South Carolina, and Brandon Johnson, a junior. Straight ahead, another nice run by Parson, and he's drugged down for a short gain.
And that's a big first down for Howard right there. The last thing you want to do at that point is give South Carolina State the ball right now with all the momentum and, you know, all the juices and everything flowing on offense there. So to get that first down there is big for Howard.
He only needed 3 yards, and he picked up 4. New set of downs for the Bisons. Twins to the near side for Howard. Starting to get the ball moving here. Looks like a pistol-like formation. Good blocking setup. Coming near side. That is Parson again, getting free. 45-40 down the sideline to the 35-yard line.
Yeah, great run there. It seems like they're getting down here, running a little power at South Carolina State right now, finding a little success there.
And that was actually a new back. That was Josiah Crute on the carry. Boy, they got 2 tailbacks that are really quick.
And they look a lot alike. It's hard to tell the difference between them, which is good. I mean, both of them have a lot of similarities and do a lot of the same things.
Literally about to say the same thing in terms of stature and attributes. Kyle Anthony lined up wide to the far side. The all-time leading receiver for the Bisons. He's been quiet today. Only 2 catches. Handoff straight ahead. That's Crute again trying to find an opening, and he does. Here he goes. 30, 25, 20. Far side flag is down. This could be coming back as he got it to about the 10.
Yeah, they're going to get a hold there. Right as he broke out there, you can see the guy kind of grab the defender there, and they're going to bring it back with a hold.
Didn't see the hold there, did you?
Not much there. Not as much as I thought it would be, but somebody saw something down there when they saw the laundry coming on the field.
Now, wait a minute here. Are they going to wave it off, or is that a spot foul?
Spot foul.
Okay, spot foul. Okay. First and 10, ball at the 12. This is by far the best offensive drive the Bisons have had on the day. The first time they've crossed the 50 all afternoon. Twins to the near side, out of the pistol once again. Takes a snap, going to hand off to Parson, far side, watches for his blockers, and he's drugged down at the 10. Good sportsmanship shown by the Bulldogs on that play, helping the player up.
Yeah, Coach Pugh speaks sportsmanship a lot. He always talk about you hit a player, you help a player up, and you get back in the huddle and you hit them again. But, you know, that's what football is all about, with good sportsmanship and being a good opponent.
That was a senior, Cornelius Walker, making the tackle right here, the hometown boy out of Orangeburg. Played at OW. Orangeburg Wilkinson.
He's an Orangeburg Wilkinson Bruin.
The local high school here right down the road. And a timeout is called. I think we'll keep it right here. 34-0. South Carolina State leads Howard. 52 seconds remaining in the first half. But the Bisons are driving. And, you know, this could be interesting here, Coach. The Bisons score here, and they get the ball to start the second half. 34-14. I mean, they're just kind of chipping away. Let's look at the first half highlights. Little read option RPO to DeMontrez Burrows. That RPO has become such a big thing, not just in college, but now in the high school game.
Yeah, we played a team last night that was a big RPO team that does a great job of doing it.
Back to pass, throws far side, and he's going to be tackled at the 5. Clock's going to tick with 46 seconds remaining. Howard does have one timeout left, and they don't want to take that one to the locker room with them. Just a little flat pattern there to the tight end. Third down, and that is the final timeout called for Howard. Timeout on the field, and that was number 87, Michael Cornwell, 6'3" redshirt senior at a Owings Mills, Maryland. Thank you. I just got a note, and listen, I am going to be the first to always admit when I'm wrong. It is the Howard Bison, not Bisons. Thanks for correcting me, Davis, because you did not.
Well, that's both of us that didn't pay attention to it, but now we both know, because I might have said Bisons a couple times myself.
Bison, plural without the S. Thank you.
But we know now we are talking about the Howard Bison.
Bison back to pass, going to throw this one into the end zone. He caught it, but he was out of bounds, incomplete. That was third down. This is fourth down. And I think did you come away with points here on your first successful offensive drive, or do you go for the score on 4th and 4?
I think you want to come out and get something on the board, something to get your little momentum going into the halftime, going into the locker room, give you guys a little confidence.
So let's see here. The kicker is Damian Gillespie. Nope, going to go for it. It looked like they were initially going to send out the kicking unit, but they're going to go for it. 4th and 4. Inside the 10. Back to pass is Ramar, still looking. Now he's going to run. 10, 5. Can he get into the end zone? Ball is knocked away. Ball is knocked away. What's the call? No signal by the officials. Oh, boy. Did he cross the pylon?
It was close. Looked like he went to extend the ball there, and looked to be a...
Now, he could have picked up the first down if that ball went out of bounds. Where did he step out? Oh, he did not cross the pylon. He did not cross the plane.
He did not cross the plane with the football there. That ball was about a yard short.
But he still could have gotten the first down between the 1 and the 2. So there you go. So they did pick up the first down as the ball was knocked out right before he crossed. Look at this here. Oh.
Yes. So the ball should be on the half-yard line there.
Boy,
first and goal.
What a great job by Cornelius Walker of knocking that one out.
Great hustle by him, running around and not giving up on the play there.
Saving the touchdown. 25 seconds left, and we'll have a official's timeout to probably take a second look at this one, right?
Yes. Make sure they got the ball marked on the right yard line. So they probably look at it, make sure it's on the half-inch line or the half-yard line.
Take a look at it again. I mean, he got the first down. Whew, that is close. and it bounces out of bounds at the 1.
Well, get a replay guys a chance to work some of their expertise here and see.
Work out the kinks.
Work out the kinks here. Make sure the replay machine is working.
Dust it off.
You make sure, yeah.
34-0. SC State leads Howard, and the Bison are driving. Take a look at the Howard huddle. It's been a good drive for them. They've mixed it up. They've showed a little creativity with run and pass. And Ramar Williams showed that he can run it. Okay, so they confirmed the call that it will be 1st and goal Howard at the 1-yard line. 1st and goal.
Yep, that's good camera work. Good replay with the replay guys in the booth there. Great job there by them.
So here we go. 2 backs right on the goal line. Let's see what Howard brings up here. No timeouts. Got to punch it in here, and just at the goal line, no signal from the official, and it is. Touchdown, Howard. And that was Parson, Dedrick Parson, punching it in from 1 yard out. And look at the big fellas fired up.
I'd like to see the offensive lineman enjoy that we got a little push. We got a touchdown there and got him in the end zone there.
That was Jalen Williams you saw center of your screen getting fired up.
A little old-fashioned power football by the Howard Bison.
(34-6), and Howard avoids the shutout and tries to get back in this game. Spot kick, and that is good. 34-7 now, with Howard getting the ball to start the second half. That is very crucial here.
And they get a chance to get some momentum and make it a football game.
So 14 seconds left. SC State has 2 timeouts, and the coaches in the booth next to us are going to go ahead and head down to the locker room. They have coached a pretty solid first half.
I would say they've done a pretty good job of doing some different things and have really been real creative, I thought, on the offense side of the ball. And defense has been about as consistent as they've been all year stopping the run.
So back to kick for Howard is Jordan Alley. It's going to be taken at the 20 by the upback, Omar Cummings, and he gets it out across the 35, and that's where the Bulldogs will put it in play. I expect either a kneel down or a dive play to take us into the halftime break.
Going to be interesting to see how aggressive they're going to be there. I think take a knee going in half and make your adjustments, come back out and see if you can finish the second half. You don't want to give up a pick six or nothing in this part of the game here. And if you're Howard, you got a little bounce going into the locker room for halftime.
Sure. And it will be that victory-like formation. But the Bulldogs haven't won yet. We still got a whole nother half of football, but they do take the knee and send it to the halftime break with your score, South Carolina State 34, Howard 7. We'll take a break, come back, look at the first half highlights and more on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3.
Televised advice to help turn your ambitions into action. What would you like the power to do?
Back now on the MEAC Digital Network, ESPN3, South Carolina State all over Howard, 34-7, an extended halftime here in Orangeburg as it's senior day. They're also recognizing faculty, administration, the band, and cheerleaders. Let's look at the recap of the first half between the Bulldogs and the Bison. as we just got some stats, but let's look at the replay. And there was Shaq Davis getting the scoring started. LeBron Morris punching it in from 1 yard out behind Alex Taylor, the big offensive lineman, 3-time MEAC Offensive Lineman of the Week. There was that fade pattern to Demontrez Burrows in the corner of the end zone. And posed for some pictures there. And that is Demontrez Burrows once again for the touchdown. And South Carolina State, they just did it all here today, Coach Davis.
They did. They had a lot going on offense, and you can see them running around, and you can see Howard getting a chance to get a little something there right before the half here. So they was able to get on the board. Didn't have to go in halftime with the goose egg up, so we'll see if they can come out with a little momentum.
Yep, and Howard got into the end zone there as South Carolina State takes a 34-7 lead over Howard in the first half. And we will look at some of the stats here throughout the halftime break. LeBron Morris, only 13 yards on the ground, but he does have a touchdown. Corey Fields with 4 touchdown passes, 249 yards through the air, 12 of 22. Shaq Davis, your leading receiver, tied with Demontrez Burrows, both receivers with 4 catches and 2 scores. We'll look at more of those halftime stats when we come back on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3.
More rewarding.
Back to Orangeburg, South Carolina, 34-7. South Carolina State leads the Bison of Howard here on Senior Day, and it has been a big first half for the Bulldogs. 4 touchdown passes for Corey Fields, 2 touchdowns each for Demontrez Burrows and Shaq Davis. Buddy Pugh is 13-2 in his career against the Howard Bison, Coach, and he is looking to improve that record in his 18th season.
Yeah, and I want to say he lost to lost to Howard maybe his first or second year, and then they had another loss there in 2017 that we looked at a little earlier. So he's had a lot of success versus Howard.
Yeah, in South Carolina State, they've done it in the air, even though this team gives up a lot on the ground to the Howard Bison, but Corey Fields has been all over the place throwing the football. He's had the long ball. He's had the short ball. They've gotten the backup quarterback, Tyrese Nick, involved. It has been just a ton of offense for the Bulldogs here today. Yeah,
we've seen Shaq Davis have one of his better days. He's had a career day, and you can see some of the rushing stats and the passing yards there by South Carolina State and Howard.
12 first downs for SC State, 6 for Howard. I believe 4 of those came on the most recent scoring drive for the Bison. 1 of 9 on third down conversion there for Howard. They've had a couple of 3-and-outs. Time of possession not really a factor here. But the rushing yards got Howard into the end zone there. The majority of the yards on their scoring drive came on the ground. They're going to have to move the ball a little quicker here in the second half if they're going to come back.
Well, it's kind of the tale of two cities here. You have your rushing yards. Howard is up with 111 yards. South Carolina State only have 21. And passing yards, South Carolina State's 249, and Howard only have 12 passing yards.
Look at defensively, stat-wise for these two teams. Chad Gilchrist leads the way with 4 tackles. He also has a sack and 2 for loss. And it is Ray Williams, one of the defensive leaders for the Howard Bison. He leads the way with 3 tackles. Antoine Turner has a sack in the ball game. Dedrick Parson, your leading stat getter for the Howard Bison, 14 carries, 70 yards, and a touchdown. Josiah Crute chips in with 48 yards on the ground. Not really else much jumps out to you. This has been all Bulldogs, and if Howard's going to get back in this game, they got to do what?
They're going to have to score some points. I mean, defensively, I thought they've been pretty solid. They gave up a couple big plays that they probably would like to have back, but they got to score some points now. You're down 27 points, 2 quarters to play. You got to score some points, and you got to score them quick.
South Carolina State leads it right now 34-7 here in Orangeburg. 23 seniors getting their time to shine and getting recognized here in the OBG. And Demontrez Burrows with a couple of touchdowns. Good to have him have a big performance on his day.
On senior day, he gets a chance to go out with a bang. He has some great catches, good punt returns there. So what a great day for him to be a senior there.
Of doneness. So let's get after it. What would you like the power to do?
Back to Orange. Orangeburg, South Carolina. South Carolina State leads it over the Howard Bison by a score of 34-7. Looking at the stats and looking ahead to the second half, Coach Demetrius Davis, I know one stat that's got to go down or stop right there where it is the punts. Howard has punted 7 times today. They got to get rid of that if they want to come back and win this ball game. Can't punt anymore. They got to score on every drive.
Right, and 7 times with an average of 26 yards. So if you're going to punt it a lot, you need to at least have that average up in the 35 or 40-yard range. But definitely need to get some scores here instead of punts.
What do you expect here from South Carolina State with the big lead, 34-7 here in this game? Do you expect them to be a little more aggressive, maybe put the ball on the ground a little bit more and rush the football?
Well, the clock is your friend here. I mean, you know, you can run the football as long as the clock running and they're not scoring, you still got a 27-point lead. So as long as the clock's your friend, I think you run the football and you try to get out of here with a win.
For Howard, they've kept it on the ground mainly in this game. They got to do something in the air because they're down by this margin. They're not going to be able to come back running the football.
Well, Howard's on the other end of the spectrum. Now, they need to throw the football and get some scores kind of fast and early. So they're going to have to throw, which is going to stop the clock, and South Carolina State's going to have to run the football.
South Carolina State leads it 34-7 over the Bison of Howard out of Washington, D.C. And, of course, the Bulldogs here in the OBG of Orangeburg, South Carolina, here towards the Low Country as SC State getting some stretching here. We just had a 101. Boy, it seemed like everybody in the stands was on the field at one point.
Right. You got the marching one-on-one, and it's high schools band day, so a lot of the high schools were out with the marching one-on-one for their halftime performance. And, you know, that's one thing that the fans really enjoy here in Orangeburg is the marching one-on-one.
Corey Fields with 4 touchdown passes today, and he's thrown 2 to the senior, DeMontrez Burrows. 4 catches, 78 yards, and 2 scores. That has been the highlight, the SC State offense. Let's take a quick break. South Carolina State leads it over Howard 34-7. Back in a bit with the second half kickoff here.
There will come a time in your life that you'll have to ask yourself, are you next?
The next Hall of Famer.
I hear you call it.
The next great leader.
Element in the periodic table? Yes.
The next nuclear engineer.
The next great musician.
Are you next?
Are you next?
I'm next.
South Carolina State University. Are you next?
Back to Orangeburg, South Carolina, 34-7. South Carolina State leads Howard. And Howard will receive the second half opening kickoff. And the Bulldogs will try to hold on defense. We talked about it at halftime. Tyler Cupp, Coach Demetrius Davis here on the call with you. South Carolina State has had the ability and had the leisure of being very creative on offense, and now they just got to hold off. You know, they've been playing great defense throughout the whole game. It's taken Howard a good bit to drive down and score. But on offense, I'm going to be curious to see how South Carolina State comes out, whether it's aggressive, whether they try to pound the ball with LeBron Morris. This is a team that gives up a lot of yards on the ground in the Bison. So we'll see how this second half plays off. That's going to be fair caught at the 10-yard line, and the Bison will put it in play. You saw a very interesting score during the halftime break here in the MEAC. What did you see?
Yeah, we saw at the end of the third quarter, Morgan State was up on North Carolina A&T 16-13.
Oh, boy.
Which that would be something that would be big if Morgan State could pull that off of a lot of teams in the MEAC. That'll give everybody a little more life there if Morgan can hold off there.
We mentioned it very briefly. South Carolina State still has an outside shot at playing for a 3-way tie in the MEAC, but they need some help. They got to continue to win out, and they need some help. They need North Carolina A&T to fall at least once to give themselves a chance. Far side is Parson trying to get free, and he can't. Tackle for loss in the backfield. And this South Carolina State defense is fired up to start things off in the third quarter, and it's the big boys up front. From Tyrell Goodwin, Roderick Perry, Xavier Johnson. Bruce Johnson's been in there. Let's see who made the stop here. Boy, look at the penetration on Goodwin. Came through the line.
That's exactly what you want to tell your D lineman there is to get a new line of scrimmage. And they were able to create a new line of scrimmage about 4 yards back in the backfield there.
It was actually the senior Paul McKeever that ended up making the stop. It's nice to see these seniors making a play on their final home game on their day. South Carolina State will finish out the season with 2 games on the road. There's a little flat pattern to the wide receiver, and he's tackled nicely. One-on-one stop by Zafir Kelly.
Great open field tackle there by Zafir Kelly there, getting the guy on the ground for a 1-yard gain and out in space.
So 3rd down, and we'll call it 13 to go. And what the Bulldogs have done is essentially take Kyle Anthony out of the game for Howard offensively. He's only got 2 catches. The all-time leading receiver for the Bison in school history. And he's going to be, can he get free? Still on his feet, stiff arm out of bounds, and not much there. And it'll force Howard to punt for the 8th time today.
Yeah, that was a good job of what you see there. South Carolina State rallying to the football. They missed the initial tackle there, but you had a bunch of garnet shirts running towards the football there to actually get a chance to get the guy on the ground.
I'm not sure if that was initially supposed to be a screen. As Cornelius Walker in on the stop. He's got a couple of tackles on senior day. So the Bison, I thought that was 3rd down.
Well, penalty was called. The referee didn't come over to let us know what was penalty, but it seemed like it was a 5-yard penalty there to make it now 3rd and 8.
Okay, so 3rd down and 8. Howard's going to get another opportunity to pick up the sticks here. And a timeout call by the Bison. Time on the field for the Bison. We will stay right here. Pardon me. An offense that only allows about 17 per game, but they give up 47 to the Bison. One thing they do a lot is turn the ball over, and they have not done that here today.
Well, that's not a stat that you want to be consistent in, is turning the ball over there. So they've done a good job of taking care of the football here today, I thought. And there you can see the screenplay with the missed tackle there, but you can see the garnet shirts rallying to the football.
Yep, garnet all over the field for the Bulldog defense. It's a 3rd down and 8 upcoming. Minnesota just upset Penn State. The Clemson Tiger fans like to hear that. Back to pass is Williams, still looking. Pump fake's going to throw this one over the middle, and it's incomplete. He just had to get that one out. Ramar Williams didn't have a whole lot of options. He was being chased, and there was great coverage downfield by the Bulldog defense. And here comes the Bison punt team.
Going to bring up 4th down there. If you're Howard, if you're in the locker room, you was trying to say, you know, we can't go 3 and out on our first drive there. But they went and got a 1st down there for a minute, and now they're punting on 4th down.
So Bison back to punt for number 8 on the day. That's a low pooch kick picked up by DeMontrez Burrows. Oh, a little shifty spin move. Circle on the PS4. And he gets it into Bison territory at the 42-yard line. That's where the Bulldogs will put it in play.
Yeah, you can see DeMontrez Burrows there is a nice size guy there, but he's very agile there. You see he has some pretty good feet there.
He is very quick for a big man.
He might have did a little ballet or something back in his earlier days. He has some pretty good feet.
Maybe a little Dancing with the Stars, Orangeburg edition.
A little Dancing with the Stars. That might be in his future here in the next couple of years after he get done playing in the NFL or something. He can go dance with the stars a little bit.
Listen, I've done it. It's tough. It is very tough. I practiced day and night 2 weeks straight, and I got Entertainment Award winner right here. And I retired on top.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Out of the shotgun. It's going to be a pass over the middle, incomplete. I think there was some miscommunication on the route. And quarterback there. And looks like is that? Yeah, that's still Corey Fields in at QB.
And that's still Corey there. Attempt to pass over. He tried to hit DeMontrez on that same slant that he scored on a little early in the first half, but Howard was there on the defense this time.
2nd down and 10. So Bulldogs coming out aggressive on the Bison side of the field, leading 34-7. Just getting started here in this 3rd quarter. Back to pass is Fields, staying aggressive for the Bulldogs. Throws this one deep downfield. Did he catch that one into the end zone? Touchdown, South Carolina State. Oh my, DeMontrez Burrows, his 3rd touchdown of the day, a circus-like catch, and he scores, making it 40-7.
What a catch. He actually tipped it to himself with one hand there, as you'll be able to see it here on the replay.
Look at this.
Great ball.
Beautiful pass. Burrows with that long wingspan got up, and you called it. Tipped it to himself, brought it in, and a 5-yard run for the score.
Looked like he has some vice grips attached to the end of his hands there to be able to pull that ball in with one hand.
And that might very well be your dagger as the Bulldogs go up 41-7 over Howard. Bulldogs rolling here in the OBG. Howard will get the ball back. You're watching the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN.
Now that's how you make an entrance. Switch to built-in virus protection. Switch to Chromebook.
Regin got his touchdown. He about to
And
hit
there
it.
you go. This is Orangeburg, South Carolina, 41-7. You see some of the cheer team and the dance team for South Carolina State. Some of the ladies getting some air time. And South Carolina State kicks it away back to Howard. And let's see the return here for the Bison. Can he find a wedge and a crease? He cannot. Gets out across the 25, close to the 30-yard line. And we'll see the Bison come out 1st and 10 with 12:25 remaining. It's all Bulldogs, 41-7. Let's check the replay.
Yeah, we get to see that catch again there by Burrows. Tip it to himself.
And see, they probably do that in practice where Fields says, I'm going to throw it here, and you've got pretty much range and vicinity to make that play yourself.
Right. I wonder how many catches do you get for that? Do he get 2 receptions because since he caught it twice, or it just goes down as 1?
It's the 5th catch for Burrows, over 100 yards on the day, his 3rd score of the afternoon, and that should put Corey Fields close to 300 yards passing in his 5th touchdown. Boy, Fields just keeps throwing up touchdowns. We're giving all the credit to the wide receivers, but Fields having a career day for a redshirt freshman.
And he throws a good ball. You know, you talk about quarterbacks that throw what we call catchable balls. There's a lot of quarterbacks out there with strong arms, but nobody can catch it, you know. But he throws a great catchable ball that actually just seems like it lands in the guy's hand softly.
41-7. And we are still double-digit time left in this 3rd quarter. Bison 1-8 on the season, and he's going to be bottled up by one of the natural disasters up front. I think that's Roderick Perry in the middle.
Yeah, that was big Roderick there to go in and get him a little tackle for a loss there. Tackle in the backfield there, actually.
Another one of the 23 seniors on this team. We'll give you all the seniors throughout the broadcast. Most of them have been heard here today and made a play. We'll give you a couple of the others that we have not said yet. Back to pass, looking. Now he's going to scramble to his left, and he's going to be spun around and sacked back at the 25. Another big loss on the play, and Ramar Williams just cannot do anything with it offensively today.
Yeah, it's been a long day for him. He's been able to try to make some plays. He's run around and did about the best as he could do, you know, running around, trying to get somebody open downfield, but South Carolina State had pretty good coverage downfield.
That was Bruce Johnson getting credit for the sack. Almost blocked again. SC State's bringing the house. And for the 2nd time in this quarter, the Bulldogs are going to get it in Bison territory to start things off. Ball at the 45.
Yeah, and that's big when you start talking about field position and making guys go. But you can see the rugby-style kick. You can see South Carolina State is trying to bring a little pressure after that rugby-style kick there and almost got there and blocked that thing.
Yeah, they want some love for the special teams. They want to execute and get some big plays in all facets of the game today.
Yeah, you want to win in all 3 phases. So I guess they feel like offense has been pretty good today. Defense done their job. Let's see if we can get special team a little recognition here.
You know, we've talked about Alex Taylor and the outstanding season he's had. The rest of this offensive line has given Corey Fields plenty of protection. Now here's the run game. That's Datron James inside the 35 down to the 34. And that is the biggest run that the Bulldogs have had here today. And it goes for about 12 or 13. And off to James, and look at the big hole made up the middle. All right, so just got this stat, 291 yards passing for Corey Fields. That ties the school record for touchdown passes in a game with that last touchdown to Burrows. Record was set by Nick earlier this season at Delaware State. I actually knew that. I had that written down somewhere. Tyrese Nick had 5 touchdowns against Delaware State earlier this year, and Fields is matched up with him.
And thanks to Brad Gillens for sending us that stat in. Appreciate that.
Two receivers left, 2 right. Fields still in at QB, looking for 300 yards passing. It's going to be it here. Datron James takes it over the middle inside the 15 down to the 14-yard line, and that is 300 yards passing for the redshirt freshman. Datron James, the redshirt junior out of North Charleston. Boy, wide open over the middle of the field, Coach.
Yeah. Dump pass and able to get it in his hand and give him a chance to make some plays with his feet.
4 wideouts, clock ticking. About to be under 9 minutes here in this third quarter. 41-7. Bulldogs staying aggressive on offense. Fields back to pass. Here he goes. 3-step drop. Steps up in the pocket into the end zone. Touchdown to Montrez Burrows. Oh my goodness, what a day. Oh my goodness. 6 touchdown passes for Fields and 4 touchdowns for DeMontrez Burrows.
I think DeMontrez Burrows woke up this morning and said, I want to have a big-time day on senior day, and I think he's fulfilling that wish that he had this morning.
Look at this, 3-step drop, steps up in the pocket, throws it, perfect pass where only the receiver can get it into the end zone for the score.
So with that being said, I think Fields just broke the school record for touchdown passes.
The school record for South Carolina State quarterbacks now goes to Corey Fields, the redshirt freshman. We'll be back after this. It's all SC State 48-7 back on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN.
What would you like the power to do?
And welcome back to South Carolina State, and we've got a couple of school records being broken today. 4 touchdowns for DeMontrez Burrows should be a school record for South Carolina State, and it is. It was Chris Burgess against Bethune-Cookman back in 2005. Thank you for finding that. Freddie Solomon also had it in 1994, and DeMontrez Burrows is now the record holder for touchdowns in a game with 4. And we've got another record holder, Corey Fields, has 6 touchdowns on the afternoon. And Burrows has been dancing all day. He's been dancing during his running his routes.
Well, he's been dancing. He's got a reason to dance. If anybody can dance, he should be the one dancing today. Him and Fields both.
Burrows has danced into the end zone 4 times today. Goodness. Handoff straight ahead. This is a nice run here by Howard. Picks up the first down at about the 45-yard line.
But now, I'm a Howard Bison fan or a Howard Bison alum. Now, one thing I am looking at is how young this roster is, and these guys are not quitting. I mean, in each thing you need to look for a little sunshine and everything, and these guys are continuing to play. They're not folding their tent.
New set of downs for Howard after the first down run, about a 20-yard gain there. Going to hand off straight ahead to the back and gets it to about the 45-yard line. So 2 school records on the afternoon for the South Carolina State Bulldogs. One going to a senior, the other to a shining star in the making. Corey Fields, the redshirt freshman out of Hollywood, South Carolina. High snap, going to hand off near side, finds a hole, and he jumps through the crease and gets it down to the 45-yard line of South Carolina State. Second time they have crossed the 50 today. And on the carry for Howard was Josiah Crute, and he might have close to about 70 or 80 yards rushing. He had a lot of yards on that drive to end the half, the scoring drive for the Bison.
And one stat we got to look at also, it's still 7 minutes and something left to go in the third quarter with all these records being broken here early.
was trying to find total points scored in a game. SC State keeps rolling like they are. Going to be a play action fake. Got a wide open receiver, and that's incomplete. They were looking for Kyle Anthony, the all-time leading receiver for the Howard Bison. Had him wide open, and you can just see the frustration for Anthony. Just shaking his head. He was wide open down the seam, had his man beat.
Yeah, and just kind of overthrown him a little bit to his outstretched arms. You know, we're kind of rooting for him to come down with that ball there, being that he's had the success he's had, and he's having such a rough day today.
2 catches for 9 yards for Kyle Anthony. 3 receivers right. Out of the shotgun, 4 down linemen for the Bulldogs. It's been that way all day. And here's another handoff near side. And gets it to about the 40. Nice gain there. On 2nd and 10, it'll bring up 3rd down and short for the Bison. Did a little research for the Howard Bison, a school of the arts, and a lot of extremely talented people have rolled through the campus of Howard, and some famous people. And I'm not sure who gets top billing here when I bring up famous Howard alum, but me being a comic book and Marvel fan, it's got to be one of the most important Avengers, Chadwick Boseman, Black Panther, Wakanda Forever, a Howard alum. We'll get to some of those throughout the second half here. 6 minutes remaining. Back to pass. Pump fake, throws over the middle, and it sails incomplete. 4th down upcoming.
You can see a little bit of the frustration starting to sit in, I mean, with the Howard guys, but I'm still rooting. I still like the way they're continue to play there, continue to play, finish the drives, finish the game.
4th down and 5. They got to go for it here. Don't have a choice. 5:58 remaining. So Bison will come out. Another famous alum, Felicia Rashad, a.k.a. Mrs. Cosby from The Cosby Show.
Yeah.
That was a big show growing up for me as a kid.
Yeah, we kind of all grew up watching Felicia Rashad, who's actually from Lancaster, South Carolina.
That's right. And it's going to be picked off at the 40, midfield, 40, 30, tackled at the 25-yard line. Picked off by the South Carolina State Bulldogs. That is Jalen Evans. Evans, a sophomore out of Hartsville. Played his high school football in Kellytown.
Get to see the replay here. Had a little blitz on and went to throw it out route, and he jumped it, and great play by him. Great job, though, by Howard's quarterback of throwing an interception but never giving up on the play and going to get him on the ground.
The ball just took too long to get there.
Yeah.
And Jalen Evans, Hartsville known for their quick skill guys, and just jumped the route and puts the Bulldogs back in position. This is Corey Fields back in. Going to hand off to Datron James, and a powerful run gets it to the 21-yard line. 4 different ball carriers today for the Bulldogs.
I think South Carolina State's starting to realize that the clock is their friend now. Run the football, get some of this time off the clock.
Yep. 2 receivers left, 1 right. Corey Fields with a hard count. He made me jump. That was a hiccup. Fields. Oh, little draw play. James bounces outside, inside the 20, 15, spins out of a tackle, still on his feet, fighting hard, and it's going to be 1st and goal for the Bulldogs inside the 10 to the 9. Datron James running hard out there today.
What a tough run by Datron James there.
Yeah.
He really wanted to get in the end zone at that play.
Datron James hasn't had a whole lot of opportunities. Had only 150 yards rushing coming in. He's kind of been the short yardage back with 3 touchdowns. And it's going to be a screen pass to Shaq Davis. Little shifty move. Cuts it up inside, and a gaggle of white jerseys gets him at the 6. Oh boy, now they got to break them apart.
Yeah, you start to see it get a little chippy here. You know, when games get a little out of reach sometimes, you can see the frustrations in different teams. So It's starting to get a little chippy.
Also, games get a little chippy when there's a little nip in the air. Demetrius, there's
Yes.
a little nip. Those guys are cold.
Those guys
they
are
hop
cold.
on the bus and get in the locker room.
As fast as they can.
4 minutes left, 48-7, and the Bison are all out of position. Fields going to try to snap the ball. Now he takes his time. Boy, the Bison were running all over the place. Fields now resets the play. Looks like he just audible. Going to hand it off. No, throws into the end zone. Touchdown, South Carolina State. And he adds to the record. Fields to Burrows. The 7th touchdown of the day for Fields. And I'm losing count. Is that the 5th?
I want to say it's the 6th.
Oh, my goodness.
Now, if my stats serve me correctly here, touchdown reception in the game were 3 by Chris Burgess. Total touchdowns in the game were 6 by Henry Odom versus Morgan State back in 1980. So if our stats are correct, and if that's his 6th touchdown, then that is a record that has been broken since 1980.
Oh, my goodness.
That's been standing since 1980, let me say that.
So there it is, 53-7, 3:42 remaining. You're watching South Carolina State.
That for fast. Switch to booting up as fast as 6 seconds. Switch to Chromebook.
Five touchdowns for DeMontrez Burrows at receiver for the Bulldogs. And it's 55-7. South Carolina State leads Howard. What a performance by the senior on his day, senior day.
Well, with that 5, then that means that
Well, that's 7 for Corey Fields. That's 7 passing touchdowns for Fields.
Right.
He's got over 300 yards passing, 7 scores. Burrows has 5. Shaq Davis has 2.
Wow. Big day for those guys, but the 6 touchdown record by Henry Odom is still intact.
Somebody tell Buddy. Somebody get down there and tell Buddy. So the record for reception touchdowns is still intact. And there's the handoff to Parsons. Wait a minute. So you're saying a receiver had 7 reception touchdowns?
Well, actually, it says rushing touchdowns on here.
Oh, rushing.
Yep,
Okay.
rushing touchdowns, and then that's just the most scored in a game by one player.
Well, Fields has 7. So that would tie him.
Well, if you look at it as passing touchdown, well, I guess we got to look through how many touchdown passes.
That's different too.
Right.
Yeah,
So
that's
touchdown
different too.
passes, Marvin Marshall had it with 4.
And then, of course, Tyrese Nick broke it earlier this year with 5, and now Fields has 7. Boy, we're breaking all kinds of records today. Back to passes. Howard going to throw far side, and that is caught. I believe, did he bring that in? Yes, official says he did. And across the 40 to the 41-yard line. And that is Anthony. His 3rd catch of the day, and it moves the sticks for the Bison. Trailing 55-7, they're just going to run no huddle here. 2:38 left. We still got a whole 4th quarter of football left. Yowzers.
This 3rd quarter did take a long time.
Parson gets ahead of steam down the far sideline. Cuts it inside 30, 25, stiff arm down to the 15-yard line. And he's over 100 yards rushing on the day. Dedrick Parson.
Well, he got a little step to his gear, though. He can really go and have a step there.
Woo, upset alert. Morgan State leads North Carolina A&T 22-13 with 3 minutes left in the 4th. Thank you so much. That is big, folks, for the MEAC Conference, as there's a handoff to Howard to the 5. If you're looking at this as a South Carolina State fan, you have to understand that if North Carolina A&T falls here, that gives South Carolina State an outside chance to still be tied for the lead in the conference and give themselves a chance to take the conference.
That would be big. That would be something that South Carolina State would need to send Morgan State some flowers. Being 1-8 going into this game, I don't think nobody would have called that.
Let's not get cheap, Coach Davis. Little edible arrangements.
We send them edible arrangements.
Little sweet tooth with flowers. Love me some chocolate-covered strawberries. First and goal. Ball to 5. Bison trying to punch it in for only the second time today. Claps his hands. He's ready. Back to pass. Fires, and it's too low. Incomplete. Other famous Howard alumni that I was looking up. One of my favorite all-time movies, Do the Right Thing by Spike Lee. Ossie Davis. The mayor. Ossie Davis. And then, of course, Anthony Anderson, star of Blackish, popular show.
Right.
Although I think most people might remember him. Well, he's been in a lot of stuff.
Right.
But Barbershop, he was one of the dumb thieves that was trying to steal from the ATM.
Yeah, he's done a lot of movies. He's been very, very successful. But Blackish, I think, has been, the thing that really took him over the top.
And this is going to be a fade into the end zone. Caught, touchdown, Bison. And that was Anthony. Kyle Anthony with another touchdown on the season. That's his 5th. And the all-time record holder at Howard gets into the end zone there. So a nice drive for the Howard Bison. They drive right down the field, rushing and passing. And Anthony makes the easy grab into the end zone. 55-13, pending the extra point. Spot kick, and it is good. 55-14 now your score with under a minute to play. And the Bulldogs continue to roll, but the Bison tacking on a score here in the third.
We just got another alert where Delaware State was up on Bethune-Cookman 16-6 late in the third quarter. So there's some movement going on in the MEAC today.
That would be a pretty big upset for Delaware State, wouldn't it?
That would be very big.
Yeah, yep. Delaware State, they've had a rough year this season. Bethune-Cookman, I watched a little bit of that game with South Carolina State. Bethune-Cookman's, they got some dudes. They got some players down there in Florida.
Well, one game I know that probably won't come down to the last second or two is the one we were watching right here in Orangeburg, as South Carolina State has got after this thing early and played good on offense, played good on defense, and did some pretty good things on special teams. So coming off that big loss to North Carolina A&T, I think this was kind of something that the doctor ordered, that they really need to come out and play good.
And that was a tough game for South Carolina State. They jumped out 10-0 on North Carolina A&T as the Bulldogs just fall on the kickoff. Led 10-0, and then North Carolina A&T reeled off. I think it was 22 straight points.
Right.
And then South Carolina State put on 10 points on the board late third, early fourth quarter, and could never get anything going. Corey Fields threw an interception on the Aggie side of the field with about 3 minutes to play in that game, trying to drive in to score. And the Aggies escaped Orangeburg with a victory last weekend.
Yeah, but anytime you're in conference play or anytime you have to play each week, every game is a big game because it's the next game. And you can never overlook an opponent. And I thought they probably thought coming in South Carolina State that might have done it for them for the MEAC. But now it seems like this door is going to open back up.
All right, so a flag down. This is going to back up SC State. If Buddy Pugh hears of these potential upsets after the game, if he hears that Delaware State knocks off Bethune-Cookman and Morgan State defeats North Carolina A&T, he's going to be as happy as he was when they knocked off Wofford in Game 1. He went cross-eyed after that win. He was so happy.
He was very excited. Or he might be as happy as he was when he got the record the other day versus Morgan State. But
that's right.
That'll be some good news to play good, to play as good as you're playing today and get off the field. And you've gotten a little help from some of your colleagues to help you get back in the race.
Second down and 8, 36 seconds remaining, and we've got a new quarterback in. That is Quincy Hill from Columbia, right down the road where we came from. Out of Spring Valley High School. Was a triple option quarterback for Robin Bacon. And we got a whistle blown. (55-13) your score. Would you have coached against him?
Quincy Hill, well, He would have been at Spring Valley, but we didn't. We never played Spring Valley. We were there, but I remember him being a great player for Coach Bacon.
Redshirt freshman Quincy Hill. And that should do it for the third quarter as they run the clock down. And we will head to the fourth. South Carolina State 55, Howard 14. Final quarter of play as the Bulldogs continue to roll in the OBG. Back in a bit on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3.
Takes forever. One has built-in virus protection. The other should be quarantined.
Back to Orangeburg, South Carolina, as some of the backups getting some playing time for the Bulldogs. Quincy Hill in at quarterback, going to keep it on the option, and he gets it up to the 35-yard line. We've got the fourth quarter stats, but let's look at the recap here on the replay. Demontrez Burrows with 5 touchdown receptions. There's one where he tipped it to himself. What do you see here, Davis? Let's call him.
Yeah, great play there. Then that's the touchdown on the slant route where he went in and just used his soft hands and brought it in there. And that's the back shoulder fade that Howard scored with there.
There were some of your highlights from the third quarter, 55-14. South Carolina State leads it over Howard. 3 receivers right, 1 left. Quincy Hill back to pass, being chased, going to be a screen. And trying to slip through is the running back, and he gets positive yardage, but not much. And that was a new running back, Trayvon Thomas from Darlington. So some of the stats here from the third quarter as you look at Thomas trying to break free. Corey Fields, 18-29, 333 yards passing, 7 touchdowns, 7. 5 of them to Demontrez Burrows and 2 to Shaq Davis, both Burrows and Davis, with over 100 yards receiving on the afternoon.
I would say that's a pretty good offensive day.
Good punt for the Bulldogs. Really good punt. They had one down to 2, and this one will be about the 13-yard line, and that's where the Howard Bison will put it in play with another chance to score, down 55-14. Some of the other stats that jump out, Chad Gilchrist leads the way with 5 tackles, 2 for loss. Aaron Walker leads defensive players for the Bison with 4. And Dedrick Parson has over 100 yards rushing, 20 carries, $124, almost 6 yards a carry, and a touchdown. And Kyle Anthony, the school's all-time leading receiver, has 4 catches for 25 yards and a score. Pass over the middle is complete and caught. That is the tight end at the 30, Michael Cornwell. Little no huddle here for the Bison. You know, this is a chance for Ramar Williams, the third string QB when the season started. He only had 14 attempts coming into this game, and he's got 20 today.
Well, he's getting a little on-the-job training today. You know, that's the best way to learn to do things is do it when the live bullets are going. So he's had an opportunity to get in, and he'll be better tomorrow than he was when he woke up this morning.
That's right. Second down and 8. 3 receivers left, and it's going to be a screen pass to Anthony, and he gets close to the first down, but he fumbled the football. Ball came out. Do the Bulldogs have it? And no signal yet. They do. Bulldogs get the turnover. 2 turnovers for this Bulldog defense today. Let's look at the replay here as Anthony has it jarred loose. And that was Cornelius Walker yet again. Cornelius Walker's had a great day. Let's get out on the...
The world's never gotten enough of it. So, we proudly bring you more of it. The new 911. timeless machine.
Back to the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3, and the Bulldogs are going to have it inside the Bison red zone. And this is Quincy Hill on what we missed during the break. Nice little run on the option keep. Boy, a lot of young quarterbacks for South Carolina State, if you think about it. Quincy Hill's a redshirt freshman. Fields a redshirt freshman. Of course, Tyreek Nick the junior, but a lot of youth at the most important position. Pitched out, fumbled the football. Luckily, it bounced right back into his hands. And it will stay right there for a second down and long. You know, one stat that I didn't bring up in the first half is the fact that South Carolina State is #1 in the MEAC in turnover margin. They're +5, and they're going to improve that margin today.
Well, that's a stat that you definitely want to be in the black with. If you +6, +5, whatever for the year, then that means that you've taken away more than you're giving away. So that's always a great stat.
So, second down and 9. 9 minutes to play in the game. It's 55-14 SC State. And it's going to be a handoff straight ahead to the back. And he gets it to about the 15. It's Trayvon Thomas again from Darlington. See one of the seniors, Tyler Shadwald, in at wide receiver. A lot of Midlands kids on the field for the Bulldogs. 2 receivers left, 1 right. Low snap. Going to roll to his right. Throws, and that is caught. Can he get in the end zone? It's at the goal line. No signal yet. Going to be down at the 2, and that should be first and goal.
Should be first and goal. I think the crowd might have got an announcement just now of the North Carolina A&T score. I just heard a little excitement going on out there, so I haven't got the final yet, but maybe that score is final.
Caught that pass. I think that was 86, Richard Bailey out of Hollywood, South Carolina. 2 wideouts, Quincy Hill. Gonna keep it himself, far side, walks in, touchdown Bulldogs. First touchdown for Quincy Hill of his Bulldog career. And the Bulldogs have dropped 60 on the Bison. Spot kick, and that is good. 62-14. South Carolina State all over Howard. And celebration time for the Bulldog fans as you see some of them exiting the marching 101, playing hard and loud today. We'll take a break on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3.
We proudly bring you more of it. The new 911. Timeless machine.
Back now on MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3. It is 62-14. South Carolina State leads Howard, and we just got the official score. Morgan State knocks off North Carolina A&T. That is a big upset and victory. We'll tell you why here in a moment. Flag is down as the return is maybe the best of the day for Howard, but it could be coming back.
I think they're going to get them for a hold there.
Look at the MEAC standings here that should be updated. All right, so there you have it. Florida A&M, which they're technically ineligible. They can't have postseason play. Bethune-Cookman, they're trailing right now 4-1. A&T just lost their second game of the MEAC, and the South Carolina State Bulldogs at 3-2. They're about to advance to 4-2. So we could have a big-time shakeup after today is over. in a three-way tie.
In South Carolina State still have to play North Carolina Central, and North Carolina A&T still have to play North Carolina Central. So it could get interesting here in the next couple of weeks.
North Carolina Central is kind of the X factor in all of this. Handoff straight ahead. Now going to bounce it outside. 30 and out of bounds. Big gainer there for the Howard tailback. Looks like they're playing some backups as well, but that is still Josiah Crute. $7:15 remaining. Looks like the Bulldogs playing some backups on defense as well. Hand off into that defensive line, and he's wrapped up. See Gilchrist. He's been in most of the day.
Yeah.
BJ Davis hadn't called his name. There he is, though. Center of your screen.
Yeah, I see Daniel Williams in there.
See Darryl Brown, redshirt sophomore out of Florence.
Yeah.
Hadn't called his name this season. Two receivers in the near side out of the pistol. Going to hand off. Bounce it outside. That's screwed again and tackled in the backfield. That was Jalen Evans. He had the interception and now a tackle for loss. Well, he's fired up. Those Hartsville kids, they got swagger.
Well, they've won some games in their days now. They've played for a lot, and they're actually on the field with BJ and a couple of these other guys from South Point. You know, those guys had some battles there for the state championships a couple of years in a row.
Yes, they did. I called one of those, South Point in Hartsville, and that was on a day where South Point was a couple touchdowns better, but it was still a dogfight.
Oh, yeah.
Back to pass, going to throw this far sideline, and that is caught. I think that was by Anthony, far sideline. Boy, he is so patient, so gifted with those feet and hands. You know, it doesn't look like much, 6'2", 6'3", but boy, don't be fooled by that.
Yeah, he's definitely a guy that runs some pretty good routes and good soft hands. And
see the replay here.
A little push off there.
Little push, little separation, but look at the awareness down the sideline.
Right. Stay in bounds there.
He knew exactly where he was on the field. Handoff, that's Crute again, trying to fight his way through, and he gets tackled down to the 20. A lot of backups in for the Bulldogs, getting some playing time. I don't know if we want to go through all the seniors here on senior day, but a lot of them have been contributors throughout the year. Of course, DeMontrez Burrows, who's got 5 touchdowns. Tyrell Goodwin, 3rd in the MEAC in tackles for loss. Paul McKeever has had a great day. Michael Terry, Alex Taylor on that offensive line. And there's a run by Crute again, far side, and he gets to about the 5-yard line. Then, of course, you've got LeBron Morris and Malik Mickle, one of your former players at Fairfield Central. Tyler Shadwell, who we talked about. Some of the names we have not mentioned. Let's see, Jared James, Terrence McCray. Some of these guys are injured, I saw.
Right.
Devontre Bus Hamilton, Veron Greer, Cliff Benjamin Jr., Jamitre Blair, and DeAndre Daniels. Oh, Brandon Oglesby. I don't think I said his name. Handoff straight ahead, lowers his shoulders into the end zone. Touchdown, Howard. And that is Parson getting in.
Parson getting in and continue to play. I mean, that says a lot about this team. That says a lot about him and their character to continue to play despite of, you know, the circumstances and despite the score.
62-20 pending the extra point. I thought I saw a flag, but they either picked it up or waved it off. So here's Alley with the extra point. Spot kick, and it's good. 62-21. All Bulldogs. 3:52 left remaining here in Orangeburg. We'll finish out the ball game after this on the MEAC Digital Network on ESPN3.
Timeless machine.
What's up, man?
Back in the OBG to finish this one out with 3:52 remaining. All smiles in the coaching booth. And all smiles here for South Carolina State fans in Orangeburg. Taking at about the 25, and that's where the Bulldogs will put it in play for 3:49. And Buddy Pugh, gotta love what your team has done here today, offensively, defensively. And you know what's interesting to me is that this is one of the worst teams against the run in the MEAC. They give up 47 a game. Bulldogs score 62 today, but they give up 250 yards on the ground. But they did it through the air today.
Right.
And Corey Fields had a great game. You see DeMontrez Burrows on your screen and Shaq Davis. Those guys combined for 7 touchdowns. Caught by all Corey Fields thrown. Here is Austin Hill. Going to hand off straight ahead. And that's another new running back. Another freshman. Jordan Johnson at a Prior Lake. Is that Prior Lake, Minnesota? Wow.
He flew over a couple states to get here, didn't he?
I'm sure he's happy about his Minnesota Gophers. Got
right.
Whatever Penn State today.
And this weather probably feels pretty good to him also.
This is probably a mild spring day in Minnesota. 2 receivers right, 1 left, 2 backs. Far side run, trying to find a crease, and he does. He picks up positive yardage there to the 45-yard line, and that's a first down. It's another Duke player. Well, I've got him down as Dante Anthony, but he's listed as a DB.
Mm-hmm.
From Fountain Inn. You know where Fountain Inn is located, Coach Demetrius Davis?
Yeah, that's Hillcrest High School up that way.
That's right. That's also near Bat Cave, South Carolina.
And that's the first I've heard of Bat Cave.
You never heard of Bat Cave?
Never heard of Bat Cave.
Bat Cave is a thing.
Oh.
Yep. Far side, and leaps over a player out of bounds at midfield. Clock ticking at 2:11. And technically it's Bat Cave, North Carolina.
Bat Cave, North Carolina?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Lower part of the state as you're crossing the state line.
Gotcha. You can watch Tyler Cup and get your little geography and everything going on.
Yeah.
Little football action and everything.
After I Google it to correct myself, thinking how smart I was. Hello, dum-dum. And it's a little pitch near saddle. The option and a collision on I-26. Goodness gracious. It was almost helmet to helmet. Oof. Both of them are back up and okay. Let's look at the replay here. Oof.
Tough, hard hit there.
Through his shoulder. Howard. And that was Ray Williams. All right, so South Carolina State moving the ball with the backups here, the second unit. Some of these guys are third unit guys. Off the 2 deep depth chart. Oh. Had nowhere to go. Now he's got to run it himself. That's Hill, the third string quarterback. A little miscommunication there.
Yeah, a little miscommunication. You could say miscommunication. Back in Winsboro, we call that a busted play. But since we're on a college campus today, we'll say miscommunication.
Oh. And I learned today what you say after busted plays. I learned that today. You say more than that.
Not really. I say what Lou Beziak says, I say.
Lou Beziak, state newspaper sports guy. Under a minute, 62-21. Final play or so of this football game. South Carolina State going to end up 6-3 overall, 4-2 in the MEAC, and the Bison will drop to 1-9 and 1-5 in conference play. Flags are down. It stops the clock at 34 seconds. We thought that was going to be it.
Yeah, you can see temper starting to flare here.
Yeah, and you hate to see that because one of the stats that shines for the Bison is the fact that they're the least penalized team in the MEAC, and that's kind of rare to see for a team that's only won one game at this point.
Well, at this point, they're frustrated, you know, and when you're not winning, you know, everything tends to get magnified. You know, a lot of stuff get covered up when you're winning, but when you're not winning, stuff get magnified, and guys get frustrated.
So temper's flaring, and boy, look at this official. He's in that guy's ear. He's heated. I don't get to use this line often. He's giving him the business.
Well, he's thrown his hat, his flag. He's got all kind of stuff. He's about to take his shoe off here in a second and throw it here. We actually have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 flags down and a hat.
Got a hat, a shoe. Oh, look, he is hot. I mean, guys, there's 34 seconds left. How about make it offsetting personal foul penalties and run a play?
Only thing is, I think with the hat coming off, meaning that was the second flag, which might be an ejection.
Look at the hat.
So he want to make sure he have the ejection because, you know, that's a suspension also. So
yep.
If somebody's going to be ejected, they want to make sure they have the right guy.
Great shot of the hat. Outstanding job by our camera crew. Getting the flags and the hat at midfield. Cleaning up all the laundry. And he gives the hat back. That's fantastic. All right, multiple fouls on both teams.
Personal foul. Offense.
Okay.
Number 53.
Personal foul on SC State.
Flagrant foul. Offense.
Flagrant.
55. That player disqualified for throwing a punch. 53 is also disqualified for throwing a punch.
Oh boy.
After the play, unsportsmanlike foul.
Couple of disqualifications here, Coach Davis. Now, what would that mean? I don't know if the rules are different from each conference. If you're ejected, could that possibly mean a suspension next week?
Well, I'm not sure. I can't quite remember the collegiate rules, but I think it's one game. I think it serves as just as like a targeting ejection, if I'm not mistaken. But if you are ejected, I think there is a suspension.
Oh, you just got a shot at Buddy Pugh with the side eye. He is not happy. That's not how Buddy Pugh coaches football. He doesn't like to see that kind of play.
Well, with 35 seconds left to go in the game, that's the last thing you want to do is get guys ejected.
Mm-hmm. So that'll do it. South Carolina State rolls over the Howard Bison by a score of 62-21. The Bulldogs are 6-3 overall, 4-2 in the MEAC, and the Bison fall to 1-9 and 1-5. 62-21 is your final here in Orangeburg. We'll have your recap and highlights coming up. Coach Buddy Pugh improves to 131-74 overall and 14-2 against the Howard Bison. So it's a good win for the South Carolina State Bulldogs, and there's still a glimmer of hope for the Bulldogs in the MEAC Conference, Coach.
Yeah, there's a little hope. Got to win some games here and hope some people lose and see what happens.
Game summary, 21 points in that third quarter. DeMontrez Burrows with 5 touchdown receptions. And there you go, back in the Celebration Bowl conversation.
And at this point of the season, that's all you want to be is in the conversation. So you still got to finish some business on your end.
School record, 7 touchdown passes for the redshirt freshman Corey Fields.
That's impressive.
There's the Marching 101 as we jump into the recap here. Soft pass and a great catch by Shaq Davis. LeBron Morris with his 5th touchdown of the season. And there's Spike dancing into it. Montrez Burrows, that was his first of 5. They think that was number 3. I'm starting to lose track on all these touchdowns. The fireworks going off here in Orangeburg, and there was plenty of fireworks on offense for the Bulldogs. And there was another number 6, and Bisons finish it off. 62-21, South Carolina State is a winner over the Bison of Howard and improved to 6-3 and 4-2 in the MEAC. For Coach